Welcome everyone to the live stream for February. It is amazing to be on tonight. Welcome all of our entire audience, all 22,000 of you. I'm going to give everyone just a minute to pop in before we start doing anything really, because it takes a minute for everyone to pop in. That's understandable. Hold on. All right, it should be a little bit better now. All right. I would love some tea. So, just a really quick reminder, as we're starting here, during tonight's broadcast, super chats are available in the comments there. Also, you can become a member of the channel, as a few of our fans already have done. With memberships, you get access to exclusive emojis and badges right next to your name during all live streams. You also get access to exclusive live streams that only happen for fans, for members. With the Pride Student collection of Fan Club, we also offer behind-the-scenes looks and exclusive bloopers behind every episode. So as every episode is airing every single week, you get to see the bloopers from that. So all of that is available, plus merchandise down below. We have brand new merchandise here at the show. It just released a couple days ago. No, early couple days ago. So this is all of our brand new merchandise. We have, as always, the mug, the t-shirts, we have brand new dual flag t-shirts and dual flag accessory pouches. We have a rainbow egghead zipper hoodie, a pup paw t-shirt. All of these come in all different colors, by the way. Rainbow face mask with a special message inside. Am I gay enough yet? Joggers. Trans valid t-shirt. We have Love Lives Somewhere in Purple t-shirt for bisexual people. NB for non-binary people t-shirts. We have the 2021 calendar of LGBTQ holidays. All 259 holidays in that calendar are listed, plus some extras there. What else is new? Dual flags, dual die-cut stickers, tote bag. We have rainbow egghead t-shirts, rainbow egghead stickers, paw print stickers, and tank tops, pillows, and accessory pouches. A whole bunch of new stuff there for you to all enjoy. So, make a PBR tea kettle. We don't have access to that. Teespring only allows us to do so much. That'd be cool though. Also tonight, you'll be seeing a whole bunch of, shall we say, really cool things coming up. Because, things are about to happen on the channel, and it's going to be really cool. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, as well as just little just commentary back and forth. I'll be answering questions for a couple hours here. We're going to be live for 3 hours tonight, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, until 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's that. All right. I'm gonna end up doing my normal and spamming y'all with donations. That's fine with us. We're editing an episode about how YouTube both helps and hurts LGBTQ creators and the LGBTQ community as well. So that will be coming out March something. I don't know exactly what date in March, but some Friday in March. As you guys have seen, we're trying to do our main episodes on Fridays every week this season. And This season is really awesome so far. I absolutely love it, because do have pansexual things? Not in the store yet, but we're hoping to add more very soon. If we added too much to the merchandise store right away, people would get mad at us for doing so many products, and it makes it look like that we're just here for the money, which we're not. So we don't want to add too many things all at once. 17 items was the kind of limit our crew thought was acceptable to not look like we're just after the money, which we're not. Plus, Teespring doesn't give us much in return anyway. It's mostly just to make the products, so it's just basically a way for you to get an awesome piece of merchandise from the show. So you've been waiting here for 2 days. Wow. Okay. But so if you have any questions, do leave them in the comments tonight as we're going through. We're going to be answering all of those great questions. We have a bunch planned. I know some of our fans wanted some things added to the Discord server, so we're going to be doing that as well. Also, Becca might have joined us tonight, but she has a date, so, good luck to her if she's watching. But yeah, also, Rebellious had a stream earlier today. I watched a little bit of that. I did have to go give a Valentine's Day card to Becca, so that's why I had to leave Rebellious. But so as I watched Rebellious's live stream, I was like, hey, so we're both live streaming the same day. And yeah, so this is kind of like, happy Valentine's Day, Matt. I'm not actually lonely this year. Awesome. Well, congratulations. I am still. I still haven't found a boy. But what was it? 2 years ago? 2 years? I think 2 years ago. I had a boyfriend on Valentine's Day, but that ended horribly. So, anyway, hopefully by the next time I have a boyfriend on Valentine's Day, it won't end badly. Awesome, Jaden. You figured out you're trans. Congratulations. Of course I would like some tea. Wait. What kind of tea? Because I have chocolate milk right now, and it's very good. But I would love some tea. What kind of tea? Real tea or like spill the tea, kind of like there's gossip or something really cool to tell me. So I know I'll find the perfect one someday. Or I know you'll find the perfect one someday. Yeah, I know. Someday out there. But until then, I'm really happy that we have all of you, and I'm really happy that we have this classroom. Gay tea. Wait, there's straight tea? I thought all tea was gay. So last month on my own, I decided to come out to your family. Hopefully it went well. Hopefully. Can I have a sexual tea? Of course. So, if you didn't see, this past month, I actually came out as demi-gay, which means basically I am physically attracted to guys a little bit, but that physical attraction grows once an emotional connection to them is built over time. So that was kind of cool this month. Although, like, a lot of you all commented and were like, hey, so Matt kind of seems sad about it. And I'm like, it's a coming out video. You have nervousness. Even on a show like this, I get nervous about telling a bit more about myself on the show. But I also was very, very happy about coming out. So I'm very excited, but also you always have that little bit of scaredness. Even though y'all are a very accepting community. So if you're ever nervous about coming out, just know that even on our show we get nervous. Yeah, so then what else do we have? Oh, we had the 259 holidays episode come out. Good lord, I'm like coughing a lot tonight. And it's okay not to come out too. Like if you're not in a situation where it's safe to do that, don't do it, you know? Um so then we had, what else do we have this month? Oh my god, I totally forget. Cuz what you got to realize is I'm working on episodes that are going to air in April right now. We're scripting episodes that will come out in April and May right now. And we're editing the episodes that are coming out in March. And so all the episodes that already came out, I'm like, wait, what did we just end up broadcasting this week? Because we worked on those episodes like 2 months ago. Um, I said it to someone in the comments the other day. I was like, one of the coolest things about the show is that I know what's about to happen a couple months before you guys know. Because y'all will ask a question and you're like, oh, what about this? And I'm like, I know that episode's coming like next week. It's really cool. So we had the coming out episode, how to turn your subscribe button rainbow, 259 Pride Flag or 259 LGBTQ holidays and calendar. LGBTQ in video games just aired a couple days ago. By the way, that episode was scripted by one of our brand new writers on the show, Marissa Moyer. Great episode there. If you haven't seen it. And then, this next week we'll have an episode on something called Gaberhoods. What if you're transgender and need to come out in order to transition? Well, here's the cool part about it. So coming out is a multi-stage process where you can come out. I watched a transgender docuseries. I think you guys would love it on Netflix. There's a lot of great documentaries now coming out. Yeah, you can turn your subscribe button rainbow. We have an entire episode on it. But we had sorry. Confusing. Little puppy brain went confused for a second. Anyway, no. So basically, if you're transgender, it's a multi-stage process to coming out. So you can come out as trans to yourself first, and just to know kind of what you are and what gender you are, and that's perfectly valid and that's perfectly fine. Then after that point, in order to start your gender expression transition, because you don't ever here's the thing. A lot of people get confused by this in the transgender debate. They're like, oh, you change your gender. No, you don't change your gender. Your gender stays the same, biologically speaking. You're always going to be what you are in your brain, because we did an entire episode on this, the science of being transgender. So let's say you were born with male genitalia, but you come out as a trans female. Well, truth be told, biologically speaking, you were always a female. But your genitals just didn't agree with that. And even though biologically speaking you are a female, when you come out and you say to other people, this is who I am, I'm a female, it's just changing the expression. It's changing your how others perceive you. And this is something we'll talk about in a future episode, when we talk about the bisexual double discrimination episode that's coming out the first Friday of March, I believe. So on all 8 of these spectrums that we talk about when we talk about sexual orientation or gender identity, we talk about these 8 spectrums, like your gender is one that you're on all the time, and wherever you are is valid on that. But hidden underneath that is a secondary hidden layer. It's how others perceive your gender. And that is the only thing to transition. That's the only thing to change, because your gender has always stayed the same as a female or a male or a non-binary person. It's always stayed the same. And there's no one that can tell you, sadly, what you are, but it's something you kind of just have to figure out on your own, but know that you have an entire family that will support you no matter what during that process. That family, by the way, is 780 million people strong in the LGBTQ. So it's how others perceive you. And so when you start coming out to other people, you don't necessarily have to come out if it's not safe at that moment. You could just start wearing a little bit different clothes, or whatever's like gender neutral clothes. A lot of people that are in unsafe conditions, from what we hear, if you're transitioning to be your gender expression as a girl or something, maybe you don't want to wear a dress right off the bat, but you want to start wearing a little bit more feminine of clothes, but more gender neutral, so your family and friends don't really start picking up on it yet. Or at least if they pick up on it, they can start getting used to it a little bit. But overall, it's just trying to get other people to get used to it, but at the same time, not giving it away either. Oh. How would demi-gender work? Sorry. Demi-gender is not necessarily a partial connection to a gender, like male or female, and a partial connection to a gender. Instead, it is more commonly referred to as non-binary. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. It's just you would start wearing a little bit different clothing, like gender neutral clothing, or your hair. I mean, really, you can express your gender however you feel like it's right to do so. But so it's not necessarily, oh, you have to express your gender by wearing a dress or yada yada. Yeah. You want a binder. Oh, hey. Burning Earth Productions is in the chat. Hey, hold on. There you go. I've been meaning to do that for a couple days now. And adding Burning Earth as a wrench to the channel. I need to find Becca's channel to do that as well. But so we're gonna have a few great episodes coming up to help, especially the trans community, in March. So, what can I tell you that's not going to give away too much here? So, first week of March, we have an episode on bisexual double discrimination. Second week of March, how YouTube helps and hurts the LGBTQ, as well as the following week, I believe we're going to have an episode with Chris from Burning Earth Productions. Uh, Chris says, don't mind me, currently doing some homework and watching at the same time. Awesome. So, yeah, Chris has helped us write an episode on LGBTQ and Star Trek, and hopefully going to be on the show if we can get that scheduled early March to record, which is highly unusual for us to, like, record so late in the game. But Chris is busy at school, and I completely understand that. Then we'll have hopefully an interview the following week on International Puppy Day on March 23rd. That interview will hopefully be with a furry YouTuber. Maybe. I make no promises. That's just what I want to happen. So, and then the 31st is International Trans Day of Visibility, and we'll hopefully have an episode. No, actually, we will have an episode because she already agreed to do it, and she's already scheduled the date to record it with us, with a transgender woman who is a massive, awesome trans activist. So we're going to sit down with her, and she's going to tell us all about we're going to talk about the trans bathroom and trans sports debates, and talk about transgenderism a lot. So there's going to be a lot of trans questions in that episode. So similar to what we've done this month, about 2 weeks prior to when we had Marshall John Blount on the show. So 2 weeks prior to do, Chris says, folks, I'm a huge Trekkie, so yes, I pitched the idea to Matt, and he agreed. I'm also going to be helping out with some extra VFX for that episode as well. So yeah, there you go. But first, get your homework done. I mean, he's going for his second degree in college, so I mean, I have to support that because it's awesome. But so I know he's gonna have 2 degrees, and I'm just gonna be sitting here with like 1 degree in my back pocket. Like, yeah, not as cool. But so coming up, 2 weeks from now? I think it's 2 weeks from now. We have the interview with Marshall John Blount airing on the channel, and that episode is all about asexual and aromantic and Black Lives Matter activism. So sort of before we did the interview with him, what was it? I think 2 weeks prior to recording that episode with him, I reached out to all of you and said, hey, aces, arrows, and everyone, like, what are your questions for an ace and arrow activist, you know? And we'll do a very similar thing next month for the interviews with furries and transgender people, and trans activists. And that way you can get all of your questions in for that episode. So if you're interested in asking questions to a furry activist or a trans activist, definitely make sure you are subscribed to this channel and you turn on notifications, because we'll be posting a short little video about a week or so prior to recording that episode with them. And that way it's just a short little, like, 1 or 2 minute video of like, hey, listen up, if you have any questions for this activist, comment those on that specific video, and that's the comment section we'll be using for getting all of the questions ready for that that interview. Now, last time we did that, because the Marshall John Blount interview is going to air, because you got to keep in mind here, we record things 2 through 3 weeks before they air at the very minimum. That's like a dangerously close time frame for us, because it takes a while to edit. Interviews are not easy to edit, because they're longer form, and I want to get all the information out to you guys. So it's mostly just I want to, record that interview as close to when it airs as possible, and that way, the activists can share it on their page, and they're not like working on something that's a couple months ahead of time. But it's also a very rushed thing for us behind the scenes of like, oh crap, we got to get that edited in like 2 weeks time. So in order to put it on YouTube and to make sure it's ready, the interview with Marshall John Blount, that's going to be airing in 2 weeks time from right now, that was recorded about 2 weeks ago, and it's already on YouTube. It's ready to go. In fact, it's going to premiere on a certain night, but we can't set the premiere yet because then YouTube wouldn't push our current videos as much. So it's YouTube's weird, what I'm saying. But no. So when we record those, I want to put a little video out there 2 weeks prior to that, or a week prior to that interview being recorded, and that way I'm like, hey, got any questions? Leave us know. With especially those two, I know they're very important topics for a lot of our audience, so I want to make sure that those videos are present. But last time we did one of those little videos saying, hey, you got any questions for an Ace and Arrow activist, we had over 1,500 questions in the comments. So it was a lot to go through before that interview started. But that was awesome to see, so thank you. What do I think about Jojo Swan coming out? Oh my god, that was awesome for the community. I mean, so Jojo kind of like hinted it. From what I've seen, Jojo would like kind of hinted it, and it was just like, I'm the gay cousin or whatever t-shirt, and then came out, and I was just like, here's the thing, like with that kind of story, first off, it kind of went two different ways. Yeah, Chris, we had 1,500 questions for that Ace and Arrow activist that I recorded already. So like when you saw it on Facebook, of like, oh, special thanks to Marshall John Blount for doing the interview a couple weeks ago. Yeah, 1,580 questions I had to sort through in order to get all the questions ready. I mean, I combined them as much as I could. Wait, Siwa, not Swan? It's Jojo Siwa. What? Jojo. Hold on. Oh. It's Siwa. Jojo Siwa. You're right. Okay. But so I mean, it was great to see. YouTube doesn't like you in 1080p. Yeah. Right now we're streaming, and the most YouTube can stream us is 720. So we try to stream in 1080, but it's not happening. Just not with our internet connection. But yeah, it was crazy. So I try to combine questions as much as possible for activists, and still that interview took 3 hours to record, and it'll end up being an hour and a half on YouTube, just because there was so many questions I had to combine. So, and also like the controversy surrounding that interview, I still don't understand at all. I don't. I hope that never happens again, because people in our comments were like, okay, so we're airing that episode on Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week, right? A valid week to put an aromantic spectrum activist on the show, right? And just because this guy ends up being an asexual activist as well as an aromantic spectrum activist, just because of that fact alone, there were a number of our audience members absolutely hounding us and saying PBR is canceled in the comments. And I was just like, why? Why? And they're like, oh, how dare you put an asexual activist on your show during a romantic spectrum awareness week. Like, in the same comments, they're like, so our aromantic spectrum awareness community, we desperately need we desperately need awareness, right? And they're like, how dare you put an aromantic spectrum awareness activist on the show in aromantic spectrum awareness week? And I'm like, what? Like, and so I took that kind of frustration and I told it to the activist, and I'm like, just in case you get, you know, just in case you get it in the comments, you know, and I'm trying to understand it myself of like, you want awareness, I'm giving you awareness, so why don't you want it, you know? And so then he's like, yeah, I have no idea either. So but yeah, with that whole Jojo situation, it was really good to see, because it's very confusing, because it was very good to see that we've heard PBR canceled from like homophobes before, but not like aromantics who have internalized aphobia. That was kind of weird to see. But anyway, so Jojo came out, and it was great to see the overwhelming support for her. Then, and we also truly loved to see how young she was coming out, which meant, and a lot of her audience is her age and younger, because generally that's how things work. If you have your audience is your age and younger, even here at PBR, I think like, what, 70% of my audience is my age and younger. I'd have to look it up, but actually I could look it up. Analytics, audience. All right, so 13.7% of our audience is 13 to 17 years old. 42.7% of our audience is 18 to 24. 19.9% is 25 to 34 years old, which is my age group. After that point, you get 12.9% of our audience is 35 to 44. 7.9% is 45 to 54. 1.6% is 55 to 64. And 1.4% of our audience is 65 or older, which is actually surprising. Now, even more surprising is over the past, like, in the past, we've had a majority of our audience being female. Nowadays, our audience is 50-50, which is really cool. It's actually 50-50. I don't know why it doesn't register non-binary, but it doesn't, which is weird. But yeah. So it's a situation where most creators like Jojo and us, no matter who you are, your audience is your age and younger. So with Jojo being so young at this point coming out, a lot of her audience is younger than her. And so it shows a lot of kids out there how normal being a lesbian is. So that's truly fantastic. However, right after she came out, she had a homophobe swat her, which, if you're not familiar with the word swatting, it means that someone called in basically it means someone doesn't like you. So they find out what your address is, and they say, they call it the FBI, and they say, well, so-and-so at this address is doing something absolutely horrible. And they're not. They're just someone you don't like. And so FBI, because they want to follow up on every lead, they send a SWAT team to this house because you made up a very, very bad, like, terrorism level crime that they were supposedly doing, but they really weren't. So they send a SWAT team to this house and raid the entire house. But that person that they're raiding doesn't really know what's about to happen. And so a lot of times this is very well known for the police accidentally killing the person that's inside, even though they did nothing wrong, because they aren't prepared for a SWAT team to come through the door. So someone did this to Jojo, and we sort of saw it in the community as like, well, apparently homophobes are willing to do that to a little kid, you know? But at the same time, homophobes knew the power of that moment. They knew how important it was for our community. They knew that what was happening was showing little kids how normal it is to be lesbian. And so, as much as I hate that story of what happened with the swatting, I also have to sit back and go, hey, homophobes would never do that if what just happened wasn't damning for them. If homophobes liked it, they wouldn't go to that length to swat someone. So, yeah. And I see you commenting that is like awful. And here's the thing: if you swat someone and it turns out they were doing nothing wrong, that is a federal crime as well, and you could be charged for doing that and sending the FBI to go do that. So that is a crime here in the United States, at least, and that's something that the FBI is following up on. I say that, but I'm also editing an episode right now of ours, talking about the true dangers we've gone through hosting this show, and we've had threats like that before on our show as we've grown, where people have said, you know, we're going to send a pipe bomb to you, we're going to swat you. People have sent our address out to truly terrible neo-Nazi people and said, come here and burn their entire house down. And so we've had all that happening on our show. And sort of we have an episode coming out soon as a tell-all about that. And that's an episode where, just in case Chris can't come on the show in March, just in case, because we're always thinking about every single possibility, we're going to have that episode ready to go. But if Chris comes on the show in March, I'll actually air that episode a week prior. We're having another episode on how YouTube helps and hurts LGBTQ creators. We'll air this episode of like the dangers of hosting PBR like a couple days later. But yeah. So, being somewhat known as an LGBTQ person and a popular one does come with danger, but at the same time, at the end of that episode, I talk about how, again, homophobes wouldn't do that if we weren't doing something great here, you know? So, love always conquers hate. That's what all I will say to that. Your keyboard was on French. Awesome. So, I have a birthday in March. I'll be 14, and it's kind of close, so I just tell people I'm 14. That's the spirit. When's your birthday? In March. We might have a live stream. Well, we're going to have a live stream every month, at least. And Chris is like, there can be a downside to fame and fortune. Well, there's a downside to fame. I haven't seen the fortune yet, so, but unfortunately, when you're at this level, you can't afford the security teams that will protect you from the fame. March 13th. Awesome. Happy birthday in advance. You wish you can donate. Well, only donate if you can, but we do appreciate donations. But we do appreciate everyone being here in general, because there's like 40 of you watching right now, and that's incredible. Yours is on the 27th of the month. Well, happy birthday. Also, how do you feel about neopronouns? What are neopronouns? Okay. So you gotta understand here, people. With like 95 pride flags, 259 holidays, what, like 160 some combinations of color combinations, it's hard being gay, okay? It's hard. It's hard to remember all this as a host. So I may have mentioned pronouns before. I just don't remember at the moment. Matt's a poor boy from a poor family. Easy come, easy go. Little high, little low. Wow, we're quoting songs now. Okay. You're trying to give me a copyright strike, Chris. Thanks. Easy come, easy go. Anyway. Oh, like XEY and XEM. I mean, they're valid. I just didn't know the name for them was neopronouns. I'm sorry. I mean, they are valid. I mean, what is it? Non-binary week is coming up in July. No, yeah, July. So we'll probably have a non-binary person on in July, and then they'll talk about that. But we're trying to do things on the holidays this year. That way it sort of like makes it easy in our producers' heads of like, we have to do this on this date. Because otherwise scheduling this show is just freaking crazy. Yes, Chris is right. All pronouns are valid. Matt, you should go live on my birthday on March 13th. When is our scheduled live stream for March? Hold on. That'll be a Saturday. I mean, we could do it on a Saturday. I mean, oh, no, we were planning on... Okay, so International Puppy Day is a very big day for me. So, I was kind of planning a lot to happen on that day. So I might go live on International Puppy Day. Very, very big furry holiday. And I might actually have my fursona ready by then, but because I'm working on a fursona, like, what's it called? Good Lord, there's a name for it. Like, it's a sheet, character sheet. Yeah, I'm working on that right now. For Monte. Blueberry Star, thank you so much. Says, hi Matt, where my MB peeps and bi peeps. There you go. Well, now everyone that's NB and bi, comment down below or comment on the live stream. How long do you think this stream will be? 3 hours. That's what we're shooting for. I actually might have a time limit tonight, because see, last year when I used to go live, I didn't really have a time limit, and then what ended up happening was I went live for like 6 or 7 hours during a live stream, and then my internet company was like, oh hell no, for the rest of the month trying to upload other videos. So I have to like limit the amount of this time. What's a fursona? Would you like to see mine? And that way you know what they are. Hold on. Let's put this over. I can put it over here. Yeah, I'll put it over here. So like this is my character sheet so far. I mean, I'm working on it. So you got to give me like some credit where it's due, that it's not fully done yet. All right. But so far, That's it. And Chris is just like in the comments, probably like, "Oh my God, Matt, you and this puppy thing." It's a cute persona. So this is so far. This is a little bit of a tracing of something, a whole bunch of like personas I found. I sort of combined into what I like so far. I still have to work on the pause. I am fully aware of that. Okay, please don't hound me in the comments. I know there are pause. I know I have to work on that. I also have to work on giving this persona at least a jock strap or something to cover over what's happening. But I love the tail so far. That's my favorite part. And I love the curled over because that's who I am as a furry. Again, please be kind. I know the paws aren't done yet. Andrew's like, PBR is a furry, confirmed. I mean, I didn't really try to hide it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it kind of happened, but wait, what happened? Generic Studio says, "Hi, Luna, the Night Guard introduced me to this channel." Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for giving a donation already on the channel. So, welcome. Welcome. Why is it not receiving a video to like the standard? I don't understand. YouTube is weird, man. Can we just all agree YouTube is weird? And just like that way we all understand it. A furry is animal. What is it called? An animomorph. You know what? I'm just gonna look it up, and that way I know how to say it. The furry fandom is a subculture interested in the anthropomorphic animal characters with human personalities and characteristics. Basically speaking, you can think of like the mascot, and it's sort of like what a fursona is, but you know, our costumes cost like $5,000. But no, so a lot of furries don't have. Some of the ones that I watch on YouTube are like Ash Coyote. Ash Coyote did an amazing documentary on Generic Studios. Yes, take the last of my money. Thank you so much. Holy crap, thank you. Why is it being weird? It's being weird. I don't know why it's being weird. Chris says, let's say it together, kids. Anthropomorphic. Yes. Is it lagging for you guys, by the way? But, Blueberry Star, thank you. It is lagging. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about the lag. I'm terribly sorry about the lag. But thank you. You might have missed it. So thank you, Generic Studios. Yes, take the last of my money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Blueberry Star. Holy crap, thank you. You guys are just amazing. So hopefully the lag kind of like dies off now. Let's see. What can I do about the lag? Oh, well, hopefully it gets better in a moment here. But yeah, so furries are pretty much like mascots in your school, kind of like outfits. But a couple of great ones on YouTube are like Ash Coyote, who did an entire documentary called The Fandom. Fantastic documentary, and I want to get Ash on the show here so bad. And then but that'll happen in the future. Contacts, hopefully. Um, then we had uh, who else? Who else do I watch? I mean, who's the one with the curl tail? Curl Gang? What's his name? Furry, come on. Matt, you know this. You know this. Oh, okay, so Odin Wolf is a fantastic YouTuber as well. Majira Strawberry, another great one. Fluke is the one I was thinking of. All right, so Fluke the Husky, and he's dating Tyrox. Oh my God, their relationship is just like, I want that so bad. I want to be like them. I don't want to break them up. I just want to have a relationship like that. Stormy Fluff, spelled FOLF. Who else do I watch that's like really good like that? I mean, I watch a lot of furries, so that's Kibo. I watch way too much furry content. Although my dad found it the other day, and he's like, "Oh, okay. So, so you're a furry on?" And I never came out to my family as a furry, just because it's not something you come out as. Because coming out is more reserved for LGBTQ stuff, whereas being a furry is just like a hobby kind of thing. But it's very, very fun to dress up. I even have like the ears and stuff right here, because being a furry is very, very fun, and bouncing your ears back and forth is very, very fun. But no, basically it's like a headspace that for a lot of furries, it's a headspace that you go into, and it allows you to escape the kind of world for a little bit. And it's like, rather than like, if I, let's say for instance, just like the pup play headspace, it's when you like if you have a really bad day at work, you're just like, oh, I don't want to think about human problems right now. I don't want to think about any of what just happened. And you're just like, well, you know what? A puppy doesn't really have any of these human problems. And for me, it's more about like, oh, I want to be owned by a man someday, of like an owner and a boyfriend, just like I own them. It's a more deeper connection to your partners than love is. So it's just another way to express that, of like, hey, and plus, who would not want to cuddle with a furry? Because holy crap, the fursuits are like so comfortable. Oh man, it's so comfortable. And then yeah, I mean, so some people think that there's a lot of yiff in the community. I mean, there are adults that like to, and yeah, it's a thing, but we're all that's only for the adults in the community. And it's not like you go to a convention and see that on the regular floor everywhere. It's like, in an upcoming episode, actually with Marshall John Blunt, we talk about how there's a bunch of TV shows that really set back the Ace and Arrow communities, because there was an episode of House in the United States where basically the main character of the show says that he can find a medical reason for someone being asexual, and that's not true. I mean, it's like or that he can cure it, which is not true at all. It's not something that's curable. It's not a bad thing to have anyway that you would want to cure. So, so with these TV shows, sort of the whole Ace and Arrow community were set back years upon years, where sort of the same thing happened to the furry community, where we had an episode air of CSI Las Vegas in the United States. We had a TV show called CSI. It aired and it showcased a furry convention and how everyone was basically having an orgy on camera. And it's like, that's not what the furry community is. It is so far from that, but because of that show now and that one episode, it took this perception that everyone else has about our community and it twisted it so wrong that it's so hard to overcome that nowadays. So, what sort of what we're saying in the community right now is we want representation in our TV shows, in our movies, in our music, and in our governments for the LGBTQ and for furries and for everything. The best way to overcome homophobia or any of this is education, and part of education is representation of what everyone sees on their televisions every day, when they're watching TV. And it's not just about, and what we forget a lot of times is it's not just about representation, it's about correct representation, where it's not damning to the community, So it's yeah, furry fandoms have donated tons of stuff to charity. I know, like, okay, so great little story time here for you. Back in about a year ago, in like April or something, we had Chris says, I think there was one that raised almost $1 million for charity, but I don't remember all the details. I know Anthrocon in Pittsburgh, PA raises a bunch of money, and what's really cool about it is that Anthrocon is like the second or third largest convention that Pittsburgh has every year when COVID isn't a thing. And so their economy in Pittsburgh is very heavily leaning on the furry community. Without the furry community, their community wouldn't survive, just like towns. We'll talk about this in next week's episode about Gaberhoods and gentrification. There are communities that heavily rely on the gay community for all of their business, and without LGBTQ people, neighborhoods like New Hope, Pennsylvania, and others that we highlight in that video, they wouldn't survive either. So it's a situation where we want representation, but not bad representation. And if you're gonna represent our community, you have to do it right. Which is why we're so dedicated to that here at our show. But yes, like, YIF is a thing in the community. What's a Gaberhood? You'll find out next week. I would explain it here, but it was a, what was it? Wow, I don't even. Okay, it's been 6 weeks since we recorded that episode. That episode is 14 minutes long, so it would take 14 minutes for me to describe what it is, and the goods and pros and cons about it. But you'll see that. So Gaberhood is basically a community made up of LGBTQ people who all live in the same area because of situations that made them live there. We talk about, like, this has been happening since the very early days of colonists coming to America. That's the earliest known record of it. But it happened a lot after World War II, and LGBTQ people were dishonorably discharged from the military, the best they could afford, because they were deemed as gay, so they couldn't find great jobs out there, so they basically bought homes in the Meadow Clunker. Calm down. It's okay. You're a furry, and your fursona is a Protogen dragon. Awesome. Don't spam, please. No one spam. Unless you want to spam super chats. I will allow that. Anyway, so basically, they couldn't find these great houses, And so they were allowed to, they can only basically afford homes in the ghettos of America. And so over the years, those ghettos became uh, just Gaberhoods, of just a neighborhood of gay and trans people. And so uh, it sort of just became this neighborhood over the years. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, who, who really knows? But nowadays, people have started to. Yes, that was a shameless promo. So over the years, those LGBTQ people have started to feel more accepted, so they started to move back into the everyday communities, and so now what we're seeing is some of those neighborhoods aren't surviving as much as they are, as they should. And in my personal opinion, we need neighborhoods to showcase where, like, I go to New Hope, Pennsylvania all the time as a tourist, just because it's an entire town full of rainbow flags outside of every business. It's one of the most thriving economies in Pennsylvania, and it's all because of LGBTQ people. So I mean, what we talk about in multiple episodes now is like this um, perplexion I have about business, because businesses have been known in the past, and there's been lawsuits about this, where a business will deny a gay couple or a transgender person from supporting their business. A customer will come in and they say, hey, you're gay, I don't want your business. And it doesn't make any sense to me, because as we've shown on our show before in an episode called, what was it, 30 tips to get LGBTQ customers for your business, something like that. We did a business tutorial on how to improve your relationship with the LGBTQ, so you can get more LGBTQ business. And in that, I talk about how gay people statistically make far more money than straight people, and we spend it on sorry, we don't make more, but we have more. We have more funding to just spend on not needed things. Uh, so it doesn't make any sense to me why you would deny business from an LGBTQ person. And then the communities where they're leaning into the LGBTQ friendly content, and where you see these communities going very LGBTQ friendly, like New Hope, Pennsylvania, Gettysburg, PA, like so on and so forth. Those communities are absolutely thriving, and like New Hope has one of the best economies in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And if you look at other states in the United States, some of their best economies happen in LGBTQ friendly towns as well, and so and in these neighborhoods as well. And so I don't get it. I don't get how all of these like state Department of Revenues aren't saying, what are they doing right that we can replicate across the whole state. And what they're doing right is they're basically being friendly to the LGBTQ. And I don't get why any business wouldn't do that, because it just means you're going to be successful, hopefully, or at least it gives you better chances. I have a question for you. Could you do different ways with this? Is there any bi and or pansexual city and state or hangouts? Was that hangouts or was that a different word? Did I just read it wrong? Hold on. Hotspots. Okay. So a Gaberhood is what they call it, but a Gaberhood is made up of LGBTQ people, including bi and pansexual people. Overall, the LGBTQIA plus have moved into these areas after like World War II was over, and sort of haven't really escaped too much I don't mean escaped like a prison. I mean like it's just they haven't moved to different parts of the country overall. Like there have been some, but it's just overall an LGBTQI friendly place to be. What does it say? All right. Hey Matt, I came out to my mom and stepdad, but I haven't to my biological dad. I want to, but he's been quite depressed. I don't think I should tell him right now. Should I wait until he's better? Test the waters with him. See if he's known to be LGBTQ friendly, like you mentioned to him another person who's of your same sexual orientation, and he's fine with them. Maybe mention to him, hey, I have a friend who's bisexual, or I have a friend who's gay. Do you mind if I hang out with them? See how he feels with that, and then see if it's safe. But if he's depressed, it's a very fine line because it could go either way. If he's LGBTQ friendly, it could be like a situation where he trusts you more, or he knows that you have an immense amount of trust with him, so he is able to pull out of depression because of that, at least for a while, because his child trusts him with that information. Or if he's very hateful, it might send him deeper into depression. So it's a very fine line there that I would very carefully skate, sadly. But just like test the waters a little bit. And if you wonder how to do that, we have an episode on 35 tips on how to come out on our on an entire episode on our channel with 35 tips to test the waters. That'll help with that. And you say he is, but I'm not sure what you say he is. Is he LGBTQ friendly, or is he not LGBTQ friendly? Lucky enough to live in a supportive town. In June, all the windows of the local businesses in the main part of town was painted with a rainbow trail. Some small businesses still have paint up. Awesome. Well, I would love to live in that town. Honestly, I really hope to move to a town like New Hope, Pennsylvania one day, that have rainbows in every storefront, because that's where I know I'm going to be accepted. And he is LGBTQ friendly. That's awesome. Well then, yeah. If you test the waters and you know he's LGBTQ friendly and you know he's having a little spurt of depression right now, maybe telling him that, hey, this is who I am and I trust you with this information. Maybe it will help with his depression, knowing that his child trusts him with that, which is an immense amount of responsibility that you're letting someone else have. So hopefully that will help him with that. And be like, and I wouldn't just say to him that, hey, I'm gay or whatever. I would say to him like, hey, I really trust you with this information because you're really important to me, and word it in that way where you're saying that you really value them as a person and as your dad, and make sure that he knows that you trust him with that information, and that it's important information that you're sharing with him, and it's important to you that he is in on that secret, because that will help him with his depression, knowing how valued he is. The more valued he thinks that he is by his own child, the more he can pull himself out of that depression, or the more help that he will seek in depression spouts for making sure that he can come out of that depression. Our next question comes from, I live in Toronto but never been to Pride. Toronto Pride is awesome. Speaking of which, we officially got a date for Pottsville Pride this year. Pottsville is a town a little ways away from here, but it is a Pride event that we broadcasted in its entirety last year, and we got the full broadcasting rights again this year. Oh, by the way, you're welcome. Socially awkward, completely no problem at all. That's what we're here for. But Pottsville Pride gave us full broadcasting rights again this year, and that Pride will be happening on July 7th, inside of Non-Binary People's Awareness Week, and also the day after Drag Day, International Drag Day. So it's gonna be an awesome holiday week. But we're gonna be filming that on July 17th and broadcasting it hopefully on July 18th on our channel in its entirety for you guys. That way, even if you can't make it to an actual Pride event this year, even if you're closeted or whatever the situation, you're going to still be able to see an entire Pride event in its entirety. Also, as soon as it stops lagging here, oh my god, the lag. Why is it lagging so much? Anyway, so also this year with that, we partly the reason why we added memberships this year, and partly the reason why I keep bringing up like super chats and merchandise and all this kind of stuff, is because we're actually hiring cameramen for that this year, for those Pride event broadcasts where we're actually hiring at least one or two camera people to be there the entire day with us and film it with us, and that way we can have better footage coming back from that event, where I don't have to run the camera and also being on camera, and I don't also have to run the booth. It's a situation where I just can't do it all. I need a team, and so we're trying to expand that team on those days, and so we're going to be hiring one or two cameramen on those days to film it with us, and that way we have better footage of it. And also, that way we can actually go to every booth this year that's at the events that we go to, and we're going to be able to interview someone at each booth and ask them, like, hey, what are you all about? Like, what's your booth about? And that way you don't just get to, like last year, you only got to see what was happening on the main stage of the event, and the booths that were off to this, the tents that were off to the side that you saw in the background of the video, all of them were really organizations that were there to represent themselves. But this year, we're going to actually go to each one of those booths, interview them, and that way, if I don't get out of breath here, that way you're able to actually visit each one of them. And between main stage events, we're going to cut those parts in, and that way it's like, all right, here's a main stage show, and then we're going to cut away to this booth, and you can visit that booth, see what they're all about, and then we'll cut back to the next main stage event and go back and forth like that. That way we have something to cut in and out of. But all of that's going to be edited overnight for y'all. It's going to be a crazy day. We did have a question earlier. Okay, have a question again. I'm out to people and family members but I keep having dreams coming out to... Wait, what? Okay, have a question again. I'm out to people and family members I keep having dreams coming out to... I don't know. I think you a doctor, but what you think it could mean. So I'm not a doctor, but before I came out to people, I definitely did have a bunch of dreams about coming out. I had a lot of nightmares and a lot of good dreams about it. It went both ways for me. And sort of the way that my brain worked in the weeks leading up to me coming out was I realized more and more how happy I was, because after, like, about 6 months before I came out, I finally allowed myself to look at guys the way that I want to look at them. I allowed myself to feel those feelings without any, like, hesitation, without any feeling of trying to rein those feelings in, and I felt happier than I've ever felt. My family started to tell me, like, Matt, why are you suddenly so much happier? Why are you smiling so much more than you used to? And I'm just like, I can't tell you that information yet, you know. And then when in the weeks leading up to when I came out, I was like, well, this is what I need to do, even though it's hard for me. But I tested the waters. We have whole videos on my coming out. But yeah, I had dreams about that as well, of like the nightmare that it could be, but also I had dreams about how good it was, and how good it could be. I had dreams about walking down the aisle to my future husband, and my family all being there and very supportive. And then I also had dreams like the very next night where my family didn't accept me as much as I thought they would, and I was running down the street and there was this black dark cloud at like 6 feet off the ground or so, like normal human level. There was this big dark black cloud chasing me down the street and chasing me away from my own home. And that was my entire dream. And I woke up with like terrible, terrible night sweats because in my dreams, all I was doing is frightening myself and running away from these things. And then, like, again, the very next night, all I would have is dreams about the perfect life with my future husband. And I would have all these dreams about, like, how my future husband would, like, cuddle me and our puppy would be sitting on the foot of the bed, and, you know, I would fall asleep in his arms, and because I'm like the smaller spoon kind of person for cuddling, and so I had all these like great dreams, but then I had those nightmares as well, and so eventually I just decided to, like, I need to say this, I need to come out, and when you start having those dreams, that's when you know you're at that breaking point in your mind of, like, I need to say this to someone. I can't hold it in any longer. So even though those dreams could be nightmares, it's also like a sign in your own mind that coming out is the best thing. Because if you're at that point and you start having those dreams, that's when you know, like, hey, my mind is telling me it's okay to say this. It might not always go well, but my mind is telling me that I need to be myself, finally. I need to stop holding myself back from that. So that's sort of the way I looked at it. That, you know, even though it's buried deep into your conscience of what you dream about, the fact that it's buried deep in your conscience of what you dream about is a sign that, hey, your mind's telling you, now is the time. I need to say it now. So Alyssa says, sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. Yeah, my depression is bad. If you have any thoughts about the S word there or depression, we have an entire series on our channel. If you go to our channel, click on our channel name under the playlist tab. The playlist tab has an entire series on overcoming depression help videos that we made especially for situations like that. So definitely check that series out. Great advice in there that I personally know works because it works on me, because I live with depression every day, and those techniques that I show and teach to you in that series definitely help overcome that. Matt, you deserve to be happy, and whoever hurts the man, I'm going to make them wish they didn't. Matt is like a father to me, and I won't let someone hurt him. That's so sweet. So yeah, my first boyfriend abused me physically. Second boyfriend abused me mentally, and third boyfriend, thank you, Rebellious. Rebellious is on top of things today. Yeah, there's a link to the Trevor Project. Get help if you need it. Thank you, Rebellious. So yeah, I had my share of bad men in my life, and I haven't really dated in the past year too much here because of COVID. I'm hoping to get back out there. So if you know anyone, But I mean, we could make this entire live stream into like a well, we could make it into like a little like, hi, my name is Matt. I am single and I'm a gay boy. And I also wait, make it a true like old like what 80s single video. Okay, so back y'all are too young for this. And even I'm a little bit young for this, but um sorry. Okay, so back in the day, before the internet was a thing, right? They used to have things at the mall where and a mall. Okay, what's a mall? So a mall is a giant building with a bunch of stores in it, right? And you used to go to these with all of your friends, right? So I know of Troye Sivan flashbacks to my strange fan fiction. You have fanfics about Troye Sivan too? I have dreams about him. Oh my god. And he's single now, which is... We're going to get off the topic of my dreams about him after that point, because that would not be safe. Finding out that Troye Sivan is single is not a very good thing to find out for your dreams, by the way. If you have a crush on him. Some people don't know what a mall is. I don't know. I know our audience is young, so I'm just saying. Anyway, Alyssa says, I can see myself in a back of a cop car after beating up Matt's exes because they hurt this wonderful man they didn't even deserve. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I got back at my exes quite well, because I'm a songwriter, and they knew that going in. So I don't know why they all cheated on me, but they did. Okay, so it's story time. Then we'll get to the mall thing. First boyfriend hit me, slapped me, and pushed me to the ground every time I tried to say I love you or kiss him. He called me ugly every time I would say I love you to him. Second boyfriend, no, he also cheated on me for 3 months. So he never did anything with me, but cheated on me with other guys so that he can get that elsewhere. Second boyfriend cheated on me, but our relationship only lasted 2 weeks. Third boyfriend, with me for 7 months, promised me everything, and said like, oh, I can move in with him, and he was promising me marriage and promising me everything in the world, and then he's like, well, he also cheated on me for the entire 7 months with 12 other guys. He was 1 year older than I was, but he was cheating on me with guys that were 70 years old, like 70 years old. And that's what he found attractive. So obviously I was not it. But yeah. He cheated on me with a dozen of them. And then I was like, hey, I gave him 4 chances to stop doing it, and he never did. So goodbye. Yeah. If you cheat, you might get beat, but you ain't folly if you're poly. That's true. But I'm not poly. I'm an exclusive guy. So, like, yeah, 70. Yeah, I mean, he's still a friend of mine, but don't talk to him very much because of that. Also, you're hearing sniffling because, well, I'm very afraid that I have COVID. No, so like yesterday, I was really sick in bed all day, and not with like a head cold, but I had like a headache, sniffles, a cough, a stomach ache, and nauseousness all in the same day. And then I'm like, what are all these symptoms of? And then I'm like, the top result is COVID. And I'm like, fuck. But no, so I think yesterday I was just nervous because of something else that happened at my other job. So I'm thinking it's just that, and I just have the sniffles because allergies. Hoping that's it. But you can never be too safe in today's world. So I'm very safe. I don't ever exit my house too much. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really go out because I'm terrified. I've had friends die from it, so once you see that a couple times, I'm like, nope. And I told my boss on Friday, and I'm like, he's looking for our schedule for the next like couple months, and I'm like, you ain't getting me to go risk my life. Sorry, I'm staying inside. I'm staying at home for the time being until I get a vaccine, and I'm gonna spend my time working on YouTube. So I literally told him that I'm gonna stay full time on YouTube for the next couple months. So y'all got me for the next couple months until I get a vaccine. And then I'm still going to do weekly episodes. The YouTube channel is not ending as far as I'm concerned. And even if something were to happen to me, I've already sent off my passwords and everything to another LGBTQ charity that will be taking it over. But I don't know why we're getting that sad. Anyway, this got dark fast. So anyway, the malls, the malls. Hopefully, I'll find a boyfriend soon. But what happens in the malls is like back in the day in like the 80s. I think it was the 80s, or was it the 70s or 60s? Anyway, somewhere around there, before we were all born. Anyway, what they used to do is they had these like videographers that would like rent out a storefront, and what you would do is you would go in and you would wear like some sort of funny outfit, right, just to like get someone's attention, and you would say yeah, you know what a mall is now, right? So basically you would go in and you would film. A videographer would film you saying, hi, my name is Matt. I'm 28 years old and I'm single and I'm looking for this kind of person. And you would talk about yourself a little bit, and you would sort of say, well, I run a video production company, and I'm a YouTuber, and I help LGBTQ people every single day, and I'm looking for a great guy who can. I mean, back in the day, you didn't really say that you were gay too much out loud because it was illegal back then. But I mean, back in the day, you would go into these stores and you would tell in front of a camera, this is who I am, this is where I work, this is what I'm all about, this is what I'm looking for in a person, and I hope you're the right person for me. And if you are, contact the number below. And so basically this company would make these little videos up and put them on VHS tapes, which are really old cassettes. This is actually a customer of mine that I just got done transferring the other day. But so a VHS tape is like this, right? And really, really old compared to like nowadays. This can only fit, 2 hours of video in very bad quality. And then like this is what we use nowadays, an little tiny SD card to fit like hours upon hours of video footage in full HD for the show. Anyway, so they had these tapes of people, and so you would record yourself saying this, and basically if you were single, you would tell this company well, I'm interested in this type of person, and um, yeah. Well, I just got done the conversion for a customer of mine because I take in my business I take VHS tapes and I transfer them to digital for people, and I just got done doing them a couple days ago for a customer. So anyway, you would go if you were single, you would go into this store and you'd be like, "Hey, so this is what I'm looking for," and they would go, "Okay, let me go into the back and grab a couple tapes for you." And so they would copy a couple of these tapes of singles that already recorded their thing, and they would give you a box of tapes to go home with and watch, right? And so it's basically like a dating app, but a very old version of it where the person in the store is the guy or the girl that plays matchmaker instead of an algorithm, very old version of what a dating app is, and so, and a lot fewer options, right? And so a lot of people found their dates this way. And if you were, yeah, they would literally have a tape of you introducing yourself to potential partners. But a dating app has that nowadays of like you send pictures to Grindr or Tinder or eHarmony or any of the dating apps. You send them photos and videos of yourself, and they put it out there. So it's the same thing. But anyway, so what would happen with this was the number on the bottom of the screen would be the company's number, and so you would say, "Hey, so I'm interested in Dale or whoever one of the tapes you gave me." And so the company would go, "Okay, let me go look up Dave's number," and so they would give you Dave's number to go contact. So it's a very, again, old version, but very slow version of getting in contact with someone, where nowadays it's just, yeah, hit like button, you know? Yeah, and before videotapes, there were classifieds in the newspaper. You're right about that, Chris. So anyway, what I thought about doing tonight was, well, like a TV show called Whose Line Is It Anyway did like an entire series on this. And it's one of the jokes that they played was like, I forget what they called it, but their improv characters would come on stage with different hats on, and they'd be like, "Well, hello," and act all silly with that hat on, right? And so I thought about like just starting off the stream today with the puppy ears and being like, "Well, hello there. I'm Matt. I go by the persona Amante Deloso, which means bone lover, which means that I like bones of all sizes and shapes." Well, okay, that sound is much more wrong than I meant it to be. Anyway, so I thought about starting the stream off with an old dating app kind of thing. But yeah. Anyway. I like how a couple seconds after I do it, you guys react to it because there's lag, or there's a stream delay. So anyway, uh, bones. Yep, bones. We'll call them bones. Chris is like, "God damn it, man." Okay, what you got to realize is, how many years ago is this, Chris? That I'm talking about. You know what I'm going to talk about. You know it. So a couple years ago, Chris and I are on a live stream for him, and so one of his other colleagues that he's working with starts. He's working on a film, and how many years ago is this? And this is how we're gonna get to the bones, okay? But okay, so yeah, years ago, I'm on a live stream with him. one of his crew members comments and says, "Hey, like we have all we're on the live stream. We're working on his movie, and his movie is a space film, right? But in this space film, there's no animals. There's just humans and aliens and all these different, and so we say, hey, like one of its crew members says, we should really have a puppy in the film, and instead of paws, this puppy would have rockets as his leg to keep him off the ground. It gets very deep, right? And so then I say, well, I should just be the puppy for the main character. Like, I should voice the voice for the puppy, right? And I start volunteering this. And that live stream is where the puppy thing began, folks. It's my fault. I'm so sorry. How many years ago? When was this? Like 2017 or 2018 or something like that? If I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, I think. So, anyway, and it didn't begin there, though. You have no idea. So, at the time, like, I was saying, oh, I'll voice the puppy. Don't worry. We don't have to find another voice actor for it. And I can even be Commander Zero's puppy. He'll be my owner in the film, and none of the crew knew. Like, my thinking was, like one of the crew members knew. My thinking, goodness, I don't remember. It's been a couple of years for sure, though. Yeah. So none of the crew really knew, besides like one or two, that I had this huge crush on the guy that played the main character in the film, that voiced the main character. And when we were recording him, I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute, right? And I so wanted to date him so bad. But then what ended up happening was, like, I'm just like, well, I can be the puppy of this guy in the film, right? Because I'm thinking, I mean, he can own me in real life if you wanted to. So then, then I'm like, okay, so now we're going to move on from this, right? Well, a couple live streams later with Chris, this is still going on, and we're all still thinking we're going to put a puppy in the film, and we're all very insistent that there's going to be a puppy in the film, right? And Chris is like, no, there's no puppies in the film. There's no animals in the film. No, this is not happening, right? So our crew, like, gets so heavy into it, and especially me, because at this point, I already know that I'm a part of the pup tribe, because for years and years and years before this, I was very much in the pup tribe. I just wasn't public about it yet. So then for Christmas that year, I decide, well, why not, like, triple down on it? And so I get Chris a little present of a calendar. It was 2018. Okay. So yeah, I get him a calendar of puppies for Christmas. And I'm like, Chris, here's some examples. Put it in the film, right? Make me the voice of it. So then every time he comes over, I'm just like, hi, Chris, how you doing? And he's like, God damn it, Matt. And so yeah, I've been very persistent on this issue of getting a puppy in Chris's film, but yeah, and then after I, like, came out publicly and I said to people, hey, I'm gay, then I started to, like, realize that, well, I think what was it? No. The summer after that, I went to a Pride event in Washington, D.C., which I talk about in another episode, by the way. We have a lot of episodes on this show. Like, the other day, someone was asking me, like, oh, what episode is that? And I'm like, oh, God, I don't remember the name of it. We have, like, 300 episodes nowadays. I don't know. But, yeah, in one of the other episodes, I talk about my first ever Pride event. And it was in Washington, D.C. Well, in Washington Pride, in front of the main stage at this event, they just have an entire, like, group of puppies. Not canines, by the way. Like, cosplay members with the hoods on and the collars around their neck and the really cool stuff. Anyway, so like my friend's there, a couple family members of mine are there, and we're just like hanging out, having a soda and stuff. And I'm just like, can you just hold my drink for a second? Because just 1 second, please. And just like, okay, whatever, What are you doing? I start running over, and I just like start barking with the other puppies, and I come back, and my family members, my friend, are like, well, that explained a lot. So many questions answered. But that was the time of my life, barking with other puppies at a pride event. So, yeah. But that's when I like came out as a puppy. But yeah. Then I started this show, and I got more comfortable saying it on camera to the world. I mean, a lot of my friends know I'm a furry, but they don't talk about it publicly because they don't know if I'm comfortable about it publicly. And then they watch this show, and you're like, so you're telling 22,000 people that you're a furry? And I'm like, hey, it's fun to be a furry. What? Guess what? You're on my phone and TV. Oh God, there's multiple of me in your room right now. This is an actual live stream. Like I'm actually live. Like hi. Bark bark. Yes. And then we like bark at homophobes, and I let there was a homophobic comment like a couple months ago, and I let it go because someone, but by the time I caught it like 20 minutes later, someone of our community already replied, and they were starting to bark at the homophobe in the comment. And so I'm like, I'm just going to let this go because it's already amazing that we're just barking at the homophobes and telling them to get the hell out. It was amazing. And you're a furry, Nito. By the name Bunny-O, I would suppose you're a furry as well, which is awesome. Bunnies are awesome as well. I just happen to be a Labrador furry, but there's plenty of animals. People have asked, like, how many animals are in the furry community? I'm like, how many animals are there? There's literally everything. Matt, I got a question for you. How long do you think it will take to make a fursuit head, or how much do you think it would cost to buy a fursuit head? So full-on fursuits are like, from what I've heard, about $5,000. I think like they do the like half suits or like quarter suits, where it's just the head and just the paws, and I believe that's somewhere about 1,000 or something, for a good one. You can get them at any price you want. It's just a matter of quality. Then I would suggest Halloween stuff is the best, because it depends on what your animal is. So for me, I'm a puppy, and so finding a puppy outfit isn't that difficult. So, I mean, I could get carried away and have a fursuiter or have a fursuit company make one for me. Like Lacey Fursuits makes fantastic ones, and that's what Fluke the Huskies fursuit is. I love the quality of their stuff, but they also charge a minimum of $5,000. They're really good quality though, because what you're paying for is the time and effort to make it as well, because it's a very custom piece for you, and you need to give them a character sheet that's very detailed. And they always say in the very beginning of the furry fandom, you should make your character as easy as possible because it's going to be cheaper in the end run of your fursuit. But there's a lot of different lacy fursuits. If you go to Fluke the Husky's YouTube channel, he links to it on every video. Anyway, So the, I sort of, it's easier for me to find puppy stuff, puppy ears and paws and all that kind of stuff, because it's a very known character. It's a very known animal during like Halloween and stuff. So there's a lot of adult costumes for puppies that aren't necessarily furry costumes, but we make it into that. Um, yeah, but the easier that you make it, the cheaper it's gonna be. The more like, sadly, the more rainbows and stuff you put on it, the more expensive it gets. But my Fursana has a rainbow battery on his paw, or around his wrist, I should say, because it's like a little like call to this channel of like how important this is and this show is to me. The ball pit fanfic. Oh my god, that was amazing. That was, I mean, I love y'all, but that was probably the best story I've ever read in my life from the fans. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of great advice on how to start being a furry on Odin Wolf's channel. I was about to say Nino Flow, but that's their adult character, and also has a YouTube channel that's very adult-minded. Very good channel if you're anyway. I don't endorse any of it. No. So if you go onto Odin Wolf on YouTube, he has a bunch of videos helping with the like beginning process. You guys want to know the ball pit fanfic? Oh my god. Okay, we can do that. We can totally do that. All right. Okay. I literally. Okay. Fuck. I still have it saved on my desktop. All right. So this is from Carrot Beast Gaming, which is in the chat right now. But this came from before Christmas, right? Yes, I endorse it. Yes, I do. Oh my god. It's so good. Put it this way, if you don't know what Bad Dragon is, don't go to their website. If you don't know what Bad Dragon is, don't go to Nino Flow's website or YouTube channel. Because he reviews a lot of their stuff. But if you but if you're too young for that, just go to Odin Wolf, because Odin Wolf is it's the same exact person, but it's a different fursuit, and it's a different character he plays online for a much more mature audience for Nino Flow. I think it's Nino Flow, is it Nino? Okay, let me just go to my history because that'd be easier to find it. Hold up. Shut up. I know what you're saying in the comments. Is just like, oh my god, it's recent stuff, Matt, that you've watched. Yes, I watch every episode. Yeah, Nido Flow. Yes, but Nido is a bunny who reviews their toys. Also, talks about a lot of other stuff on that channel. So putting that aside, on to Cared Beast Gaming, which is not a whole lot better of a story than what I was saying a moment ago. So Cared Beast Gaming, this is the ball pit. Of course, it's in my history. And then we'll come back for the sorry, like. All right, so all right, so here is the story. This is a wonderful Valentine's Day story. All right. We had put out a video that was like 11 hours long It was just a timer on the screen of like counting down to a big event we had coming up. That event was my first ever children's book was coming out called Shadow's First Christmas, and that came out in the beginning of December 4th, I think it was. And we had a big timer that was counting down to the release of my book, but no one knew that was a book release, right? Because I haven't put out a book on this channel yet. I put out a couple of books before, but never one on this channel, right? So, one of the fans called Cared Beast Gaming commented and said, "The timer ends and the screen cuts. The screen shows Matt sitting in a giant ball pit like they have at, arcades and children's play places. The camera zooms in and Matt exclaims, 'We increased our budget.' The cameraman then states that that's not just... Sorry. The cameraman then states that that's not just the surprise. Matt looks at the cameraman and asked, 'What else is going on?'" I fucked up this story already. Yeah, I have multiple books. If you look it up on Amazon, we have... If you look up Matt Haslam on Amazon, I have 5 books out now. 5 or 6. Yeah. But this is the first one for LGBTQ. All right, so the timer ends and screen cuts. The screen shows Matt sitting in a giant ball pit. The camera zooms in and Matt exclaims, "We increased our budget." The cameraman then states that that's not just the surprise. Matt looks at the cameraman and asks, "What else are we doing? I thought the ball pit was all we got." The cameraman then says, We decided to surprise you by bringing Troye Sivan here and putting him in the ball pit for you to find." Matt shrieks with joy, but the cameraman has more. They say, "Troye Sivan is indeed in this ball pit, but we instructed him..." "Troye Sivan is indeed in this ball pit, but we instructed him to remove his clothing before he got in. You will have 15 minutes to find him, and then you get to do whatever you please with him." Matt is seen diving into the balls as the camera cuts to black. Later on a community post, Matt can be seen with Troye in a picture, although both are wearing dog ears. The caption simply has the eggplant emoji. "Thank you for reading this strange fanfic esque thought I had. It is in no way serious." But what you don't know... my dreams. Anyway, that's in no way serious, but my dreams are so much worse. Can we get a... with the dog? Okay, sure. Ooh woo. Or a rough. Yes, diving into the balls. That's my favorite part of the story. Some of you know what I meant by the pause there. By the pause. Oh yeah. Diving into the balls. Fun times. But no, I love stories like that, so that keep them coming. No. This is why you don't give me excessive sugar. No, we need to give you more sugar. We need more stories. That was a 10 out of 10. Socially awkward is right. Alyssa says, I have to go. Love you so much, Matt. You're my favorite YouTuber ever. And remember, if you got any more bad exes, send me DM. Okay. I mean, I'm good with my exes now. I've had my revenge on them. I mean, I have a TV show that gets to talk about them publicly to the rest of the gay community. So, good luck finding a boyfriend after that. But I'm questioning if you could tell the audience what a protogen is. I don't even know too much about that myself. I know it exists as a furry thing. I just don't know as much about it as I should to talk about it. Didn't you chainsaw a bear one of your exes gave you? Yeah, that was a thing. Well, it was a circular saw, actually. But, okay, fun story about that. Okay. So what Chris doesn't know is that before we had planned... So I was doing the episode on X-Files. Like, it's this little mini-series that I have on this show about one of my exes. And so what I had done in that episode was I talk about, how bad my ex was, and then generally speaking at the end of these episodes I try to do something really cool at the end of them. Sort of like Last Week Tonight does on their show, of like, oh, hey, we're just gonna, do this entire episode about this topic, and then we're just gonna, I don't know, do something crazy that people remember us for, Well, at the end of this X-Files episode, I was like, I still have this teddy bear just in a box in my attic that he gave me. And so I'm like, well, let me do something really cool with it, right? And so I'm like, I want to burn it. And so I spent about, what was it, like 6 or 7 hours in the studio setting up this entire set to burn this bear, right? And I knew we couldn't burn it inside because that's way too dangerous. So I knew we would have to take it outdoors to do this. So what I was doing was I was getting all my cameras ready to film in the highest frame rate possible. I was getting all my lights ready to brighten this bear up, even though it was pure daylight out, I was getting it all ready because when you're shooting at such high frame rates of video, the video becomes darker. And so I need extra lights all over the subject that I'm filming. And the fire also doesn't help with that, right? So there's a bunch of reasons why we're basically, I'm sitting down with a director of photography on the project, and I'm like, how do we film fire, safely, where none of us get hurt? I know all we're doing is burning a bear, but we need to film that from multiple angles. We need to put this bear in gasoline beforehand so it bursts into flames, and so there's nothing left of it. We know this is going to be highly dangerous to do. We know that, we're going to have to film at these high frame rates so we can get slow motion shots. And it's lagging again. Of course it's being laggy. So I can't tell my story. Anyway, so what we end up doing was... my director of photography and I are sitting down figuring out how to film this entire scene, right? And so we finally figured out, like, this is how we need to film it. These are all the cameras we need to do it. We had got all the cameras ready to go. Everything's ready to hit the road out the door to film this the next morning. And I'm like, let me just make sure of one. Let me look up the ordinances in town to see if it's legal to film something outside of a container. If it's a small thing, right? Well, turns out it's not. And the way the law is written in my town, you can film something street on your own personal property, that's fine. You can also burn something as long as it's in a confined container, like a steel drum or something where the fire can't really escape, right? Well, in order to film something that is on fire, I want to see that teddy bear actually on fire, so I can't really contain it by a metal drum and then also film it. It's impossible to do that. So we figure out, well, if we're going to go ahead and film this, we could be facing like a $1,500 fine plus about 90 days in jail if they catch us. And I'm like, well, let's not do that. So quickly we change plans. And I sort of like look at how else can we destroy this bear, because I definitely want this as a part of this episode, because I have no use for this teddy bear anymore. So why not just see if that works? Hopefully that works. All right. Anyway, so we eventually like look into our back room, which is an entire like repair shop for the equipment on our show, and we just like look through all the power tools and we're like, what can we do? We eventually decide on a circular saw, and we're like, the circular saw spins at so fast, much faster than whatever we were planning on filming with a fire. So now we need even more higher powered cameras to film the slow motion stuff. And I'm like, all right, fine. We figured it out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do a circular saw. Well, so the circular saw is actually owned by my father. And I didn't tell him this part. I just told him, hey, can I borrow your circular saw tomorrow? I need to saw something for the show. And he's like, yeah, whatever, as long as you're safe, I don't care. Because, he trained me on how to use all this stuff safely, so we're fine, and I didn't really tell him it was for a teddy bear, because that would be really embarrassing to tell him, kind of thing. And he didn't really know the context of why I wanted to do it. So then I end up filming it. Well, I thought that the clamps on the teddy bear were good enough to hold it. That did not work as well as I thought. They were not near as powerful as I thought of clamps. So the teddy bear gets like wound up in the circular saw. What you don't see on camera is the about 2 hours of me trying to get the stuffing out of this circular saw. Of course, I unplugged the circular saw beforehand, but because you never ever touch the blade of a saw without unplugging it and making sure it cannot spin, because we had a safety on it. We had a safety. I'll just show you because it's easier. It's easier to actually show you like what this was. Destroy workshop. Yeah, we called it Destroy a Bear Workshop instead of Build a Bear Workshop, like they have in malls nowadays, right? Let's go back to camera display here so you can see it. All right, so this is Destroy Bear Workshop.
Welcome to Destroy a Bear Workshop, where all of Larry's bears come to be abused. Just like you.
And those clamps did not work as well as I thought they would.
In a total coincidence of costume today, he gave me this shirt for my it too. And remember, kids, don't try anything you're about to see at home. I'm only allowed because I'm a TV show host. We have the safety training to keep us safe at all times, and because I'm a professional gay.
So that was one of my writers on the show that came up with professional gay. And I'm just like, that's too funny not to say. And I kind of hear Chris in the comments going, "Oh my God, you're a professional guy." That shirt is amazing. The shirt in this one, this, well, you'll see in a second. Look at him. It's as if he knows what's coming. Because that shirt is one that that Larry, my ex, who I will remain nameless in this entire series, in the video. Okay. So yeah, that's a shirt that he gave me for my birthday, along with the teddy bear. So I thought it was only right to wear it during the show, or during the episode about him. And also, what else do we do? There were a bunch of references. Oh, I also wore the same shirt in the song music video about him on my music channel called Better Off Alone, the song. So, yeah. But I'm a professional guy. But yeah. So this is what we did. And see, right there, well, the music is copyright-free music, which, if you ever watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, he did an entire thing where he blew up the year 2020. He also blew up this giant model of 2016, and he used that same sort of opera music. And I'm like, well, we need to do something big like that. And so we did this. In the video there, you can see me unplugging the circular saw from the wall outlet in the studio before I went and touched the thing, Look at you wearing the Pride mask before COVID. You were ahead of the game. No, this is September 2020, and it was recorded in August 2020. So that this is actually in COVID time when I'm wearing the mask. Yeah. I already had that mask for a couple months for COVID reasons. But I didn't know where the stuffing would go. So yeah. Also, a lot of you are commenting that my progress bar for the video, the subscribe button, which, by the way, the subscribe button for me doesn't appear on my channel because it's my channel. So it's only the join button does. Weirdly enough, I can join my own channel as a member, which is so weird. I don't understand that. But what shows up for me is analytics and edit video. So I can edit this video. What shows up for you is the subscribe button. Also, the progress bars of all the other videos I've watched before. And even the YouTube logo up here. All changes rainbow. My notifications over there change as well, you can see. So all of that changes rainbow. And if you're wondering how to do that on your computer or your phone or anything like that, you can go to our videos right now. And we have a video about a week ago on how to turn your subscribe button rainbow. Don't go watch it right now because then you'll be clicking off of this video. But yes, we do have a video on that. of how to do that. One of our fans taught us how to do it. So we decided to make a video on how to do it. So yeah, if you go to our channel, all the subscribe buttons could be actually turned rainbow. There's no way to actually turn the subscribe button into a constant rainbow, like an actual, like all 6 colors. But this is actually better in a way, because if your family doesn't know you're gay or whatever, or LGBTQ, and they just come across your computer and, oh, the colors are changing on every channel, like you're going to, for instance, like I was talking about earlier, Fluke the Husky, right? We can go to his channel, and his subscribe button is turning rainbow for me as well. What other ones do I'm subscribed to a lot of people. Odin Wolf is what I was talking about before. Great videos on being a furry and starting up in the furry fandom. You don't need a costume right away. You don't need a costume at all to be furry. His subscribe button turns rainbow as well. And this way, your family doesn't necessarily know that you're LGBTQ by finding out that you have this on your channel, you know? Because, I mean, it's just turning different colors, right? Yeah, I love Smosh, by the way. But it's turning colors, so it's not necessarily like, hey, everyone, I'm gay, but it's like, you know that it's the gay colors, and to your family, it could just be like, oh, they're just being colorful, you know? Or YouTube is doing something weird that day to be colorful, you know? Hey, Matt, I tested the waters with my grandma, but bringing up my gay uncle. By bringing up my gay uncle, she didn't sound disgusted, but I don't know if she is totally accepting because we never finished the conversation. You can always go back and finish the conversation, but what I would say to that is, like, for my grandma, I did it the same way. I talked about my gay uncle, Jeffrey Blake, with her, and I kept asking her all these questions of like, well, what do you think about this? Well, what do you think about this? You know, tell me what it was like for him and his generation back in the day. You know, and all those questions kind of hinted to her over the years that I was gay. But sort of the way I always saw it was, even if you don't, I had conversations with her that didn't really finish either. You know, it was just like, all right, well, I was cut off in the middle of the conversation because someone else came in the room or whatever, and I felt like if I went back to the same story or whatever, I would be outing myself or pushing the topic a little bit. So the way I always looked at it was, hey, if I brought up my gay uncle, or if my gay uncle was brought up in the conversation and she was accepting of that, and if she was talking about it in a favorable light for the amount of time that we were talking about it, probably she's fine with it. If she was immediately like saying, hey, no, let's not talk about that, it's a sore subject, or our family doesn't really talk about him, or sort of like, if she got angry about it right away, then you want to probably move on to the next topic and not come out to her. But if she's being accepting about talking about him, she'll probably be accepting about talking about you being LGBTQ. Awesome, Good Burger. Oh my god, guys, I just came out to my dad and he accepted me. Awesome. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. See that? The world was becoming a brighter place for anyone. Well, I mean, being gay does run in the family, so even if you don't know someone who is LGBTQ in your family right now, there was people in your family that were LGBTQ at some point. Oh my god, you guys are like Protogens. Oh, okay. I don't know enough about them to talk about them. But I will look up protogens. Protogens are a subspecies of furry, especially made for space exploration. They are of unknown descent, but have been mentioned that they were created by unknown entities, presumably by the furries, to explore space. There you go. That's what a protogen is. Also, they kind of look cool. Very cool. Sorry. I don't know. I didn't know protogens were that big of a topic. Apparently. What do you do if you know your family won't accept you? Don't come out to them. If you watch our episode, which one is it in? I believe we have an entire episode on our channel under the coming out advice episodes series. Don't arson them. We joke around a lot about let's burn the homophobes on Homophobe Mountain, which is a Minecraft thing that our fans did, but don't actually threaten their lives. That's a crime. But what I will say is, if you go to our coming out advice series under the playlist tab of this channel, there's an entire video there on how to deal with homophobia and transphobia. And there we sort of talk about how if you test the waters and you find out that your family is not going to be accepting of you, then don't come out to them. Imagine you're coming out as the one and only party that you can control. Because here's the thing. Your birthday party, your graduation party, your Christmas party, whatever kind of holiday parties you have, right? Your family gets to decide who's there just as much as you do. Like if you're like, let's not invite homophobic grandpa, your family's going to invite grandpa, you know? If you know someone's not accepting of you, but you haven't come out yet and you can't tell them, hey, don't invite that person because they're homophobic, they're going to invite them, right? But you're coming out. Your coming out is your party. It's the one and only party in your life that you can control. Who is there and when they're there, right? And so if you know, hey, this person is not going to be accepting, don't send them an invite to that party. Don't invite them to your party because they're going to ruin that party. And so I always say only invite people to that coming out party and it's not an actual party, by the way. It's just when we say you invite someone to your party, it's literally meaning you come out to that person and tell them your secret of this is who I am, and now they're in on the secret and they're part of that group, right? And so they're at your party, your theoretical party. They're your stream was lag free. You had 3 streams today. Sorry, I have lag because we're on the computer right now. Because I thought we'd be doing other things when we are. Had I known that, I would have been on my phone the whole time. And my phone is a lot better. Anyway, so only invite people that you know are going to be accepting to your coming out, and only tell people that you know are going to be accepting. If they accidentally find out, or if someone outs you to them, don't interact with that person. The more attention you give to homophobic people, the more attention they seek, and the more they know they won that battle and they are bothering you. So as hard as it is to ignore. And if you know they're not going to be accepting, be like, hey, fine. I'm not going to tell my mom. I'm not going to tell my dad or whoever, you know? I'm very lucky that my family is accepting, but there have been people that I don't come out to just because I know their views on it. And over the years, they figured out that I'm gay because of my TV show or whatever else, my activism, but they sort of haven't bothered me. I haven't bothered them, you know? Oh, I thought you just did 3 streams today because you just wanted to do 3 different streams. Okay. I thought you were just like, I'm gonna be cool and do 3 different streams today. Um, okay, actual question though. Does having a crush on a boy immediately mean you're gay? No. I mean, I know this is gonna sound repetitive. I had an episode on this called First Signs I Was Gay. I mean, if you have, you can be straight and be like, okay, that guy looks cute, you know, fine, whatever, you know. It's and these gender rules are stupid anyway, you know. So it's like you can look at a guy and think that he looks gorgeous or whatever, or looks handsome in that suit and tie or whatever, and not want to date him. There's a difference. But after a couple different crushes, and like for me, like my first crush was like, okay, I always looked at this one boy and I always wanted to hold his hand. We would go on hikes together and I always wanted to hang around him. And we would go out to different like museums together and I wanted to kiss him. And I looked at these hangouts as like dates or more than just friends. I remember being in my my basement with him, doing homework, and I looked at that as like, oh, this guy really likes me back in the same way that I like him. We went to summer camp together, and I would always like want to be in the same tent as him. And then I remember coming home from summer camp one year, and so back where I used to live, we had an entire huge hill behind our house of woods. So it's just tons of different trees, right? And there were trails on this hill, but not too many, just dirt trails. And I remember I came home from summer camp on a Friday night, I think it was. Saturday morning, I went on a hike up on this hill because I could not stand it anymore. I spent all week like okay, so you gotta remember, like summer camp, I'm like spending all week with this boy that I have a huge crush on. I know it's a deep crush. So it's not just like, oh, that guy looks good, whatever, but I like girls. This is no, like, I want him. I want to date him. I want to someday marry him. Like, that's the kind of dreams I'm having at this point, you know? And during summer camp that year is when did I talk about this? I think I talked about it on a previous episode where like they have these summer camp bathrooms / showers, and I see a guy completely no clothes for the first time. And that's when I kind of like figured out like, okay, yeah, I'm not into girls. And so nothing happened between us at all, by the way. It's just we just saw each other. But after that point, I came home Saturday morning. I run up on the hill behind my house because I could not stop thinking about my crushes. I could not stop thinking about guys to the point where I just wanted to get out of my house for a little bit and just say naked. It's going to be demonetized already. No. No demonetization. We'll talk about this in a couple weeks on another episode of why I don't want to get demonetized on any video. Because we already make 1/5 of other creators. I'm kidding, I don't care. So it's a headache more than anything to get demonetized. Anyway, so I come home, I run up on the hill behind my house because I'm just basically trying to run away. And I just so happened to still have my pocket knife in my pocket from the camping trip that we were all on for the past week for summer camp. And I just start carving this boy's name into a tree. And uh hashtag no clothes. What? What? Okay. Anyway, um y'all are funny. So yeah, no, then I started to carve this boy's name into a tree up behind my house. And I put a heart around it because I was like, this is who I am. And that's okay with me, you know? And I was like, for me, I needed to write it down somewhere. And writing Alex's name in a notebook or anything else would have been terrible for me. I mean, the only Alex in our entire school was a boy. And the only person that my entire family knew was Alex was a boy. And so if they found my notebooks for school or something with Alex with the heart around his name or something like that, they would immediately know something was different, you know? And so I just decided I'm going to write it on a tree in the woods in the back of my house because no one ever went up there. My parents especially never went up there. And so I'm like, I need to write it down somewhere. I just need to get it out. And that's why I say, like, you can have a crush on someone without being gay automatically. But when you have crushes to the extent of what I had, and you're like seeing a guy without clothes on for the first time and while still getting monetized on YouTube, and you realize very quickly how happy you get, and then you keep thinking about this boy and thinking about and dreaming about marrying him one day. That's when it gets to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm not straight. Or at the very least, I'm bi or something here, you know? And what the thing is I often went up to the same tree and I would just sit there right next to the tree for hours whenever I felt like, because my parents fought a lot as a kid. And so when they fought a lot, I would take a notebook up and write a song or something like that. And I would write a love song about some girl, but it was really about Alex. Or I would, just sit next to this tree and, think about how one day I'll get away from this house and I'll live with the guy. And that's sort of how I spent a lot of days as a kid. Or I would go on the swing sets at my local park or something like that and just try to get away from my family situation. But this tree was an escape for me. It was the only place in the world that I could express my true love, and it was in the middle of a giant forest that no one ever went in. So for me, coming out wasn't really coming out of the closet, more so coming out of the forest, which not a whole lot of people understand until you tell them that story. Oh my god, you and the no clothes thing. Fine, he was no clothesless. I'm surprised you haven't hashtagged me saying bones or happy yet. Because in that story I said get happy very fast, and you haven't picked up on that yet. So it was like an Alex shrine. It was. It was very nice. I wish I had a picture of it to be That's Alex's name on the tree. But I have gone back there, but bark on trees kind of, grows over time. I also have a secret stash of pride flags for anyone from the LGBTQ community, unless I already have that flag. I put their flag. Oh, that's awesome. Oh dear, even Chris is getting into the no clothes thing. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for jumping on the bandwagon. Half of you are spelling clothes wrong. That's my favorite. No, I mean, see, no, the story time from earlier from the ball pit thing and the no clothes thing, y'all are like, oh, Matt is such a vanilla person, and Matt is so sweet and kind of a person that he thinks that, even saying the word nude gets him demonetized and stuff. And then you'll like go over to the Twitter, and you'll like go over to my personal Twitter, not the PBR Twitter, but my personal one, and you're just like, fuck. Wow, Matt is not Matt is not that saint that I thought he was. But it's not like, it's not me. It's just, I'm a writer. And also, can I just say, I love Two Foxes in Love. Oh my god. Do y'all know what Two Foxes in Love is? It's a Twitter channel. It's a wonderful Twitter channel. See if I can get to it on a safe page. Yeah, PBR page. Okay. Two Foxes in Love. Where's it at? People? Oh, is it just Foxes in Love? Oh, there. Yes, just Foxes in Love. Oh. But if you ever want, like, just the most romantic things in the world, Foxes in Love. Oh, such a good page. It's like, that's what we could do today. We can just read through these. Are you still watching the Satan documentary? It's a part of a 5-part miniseries. So what will I be learning everything about tomorrow? The history of glass blowing in Venice. I mean, there's a lot of good ones here. Let me find a really good one for you. Oh, okay. Bo sleeping. And one flips over and he's like, oh, my turn to be the big spoon. Okay. Oh, this is my favorite. I don't know if this is just me, but this book is mildly gay. And then he's like, oh my. And he's like, not so mild anymore then. Spicy gay. And a lot of people have clipped that out already of spicy gay. That sounded like me. Oh, another sweet one. Every one of these is sweet, though. He's been asleep wrapped around me for hours now. I can't feel my tail, and my phone is out of battery. Also, I really have to pee. At-home amputation can't be that hard. It's so sweet. And then, I don't want to click on that, but if you're a puppy, click on that. Yeah, so it's a really sweet, spicy gay. Yeah. So, one of y'all just got uh, timed out for 300 seconds, by the way. Because you're like, Trump got acquitted. Good. He committed multiple federal and state crimes and he just got acquitted and he wasn't charged. Fuck that. No, he deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. What Trump deserves is Guantanamo for the rest of his life. See what he did to freaking gay people and trans people, and you'd pretty much understand the guy deserves a very long and fun life in Guantanamo. But enough about Trump. I've had enough with Trump. I covered him for 4 years. Yeah. So, anyway, Guantanamo is a prison. It's a very, very bad prison. It's basically like, Trump is racist, homophobic, transphobic, narcissistical. Just he pretty much hates everyone if you're not a rich white man. That's straight. But he literally gassed African American people just so he can get a photo of himself holding a Bible upside down. He did 100 but we were like covering him on the show up until like June when I stopped covering him too much. And by that point he had done 135 anti-LGBTQ policies and actions since taking office. By the way, any other president in U.S. history, if you look at Bill Clinton, a Democrat, if you look at Ronald Reagan, a Republican, look at any of these presidents in history, they only ever did, at most, one anti-LGBTQ policy in their entire 4 to 8 year term. Trump did 135 by June of 2020, which was 3.5 years into his 3.5 years into his term, you know? And then if you go to by the time the election happened and when he was out of office, right? During the election, we were covering him and the Joe Biden election, right? And we were saying, everybody vote for Joe because otherwise you're going to get a homophobe and a transphobe, right? Trump literally took away protections for trans people to get, basically, if you're a trans person in America and you went to a hospital looking for help, medical emergency help, because you were just beaten up for being trans or something, which happens far too often in America, Trump decided to put an executive order out there that said hospitals no longer have to help you in that situation. So if you're beaten up for being trans, or any other reason, if you need emergency care and you're trans, hospitals no longer have to care for you because Trump put an executive order out there, right? Which is unbelievable that a president can do that. But not only did he do that, but he signed that executive order on June 12th, 2020, which is the 4-year anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting, the worst terroristic attack on LGBTQ people on American soil in history. He decided to sign it on that day. This is the kind of person you're dealing with Trump, you know? And so then what we ended up doing was we're saying everybody vote for Trump, and then after the election was over, after we figured out that Trump lost the election, which was fantastic, we covered it on our show of a celebration live stream, we figured out he lost. After that point, Trump still had a couple of months in office until he was replaced with Biden, right? So while he's inciting insurrection, while he's riling up his crowd and telling them to go to the Capitol and break into the Capitol right? While he's telling his people to riot and to hang his own vice president, right? While all of that's happening, behind closed doors, Trump is also signing much more executive orders. And so by the end of his presidency, the final day, January 20th, 2021, Trump no longer had 135 anti-LGBTQ policies in 4 years. He now had 181. 181 things he did against our community. And yeah, no spamming, please. But 181. That's just, how do you even come up with that many things to come after our community for? So, guys, if you keep spamming, I'm gonna time you out, okay? But yeah, he gets me very, very upset, and so I'm very happy that Trump's out of office. I'm very happy. So, anyway, not talking about Trump anymore. Let's talk about puppies. No, let's talk about something else. So, what do you want to talk about? Matt, I don't remember. Matt, I don't know if you remember, but a few days ago, you said that since I didn't know what candy to get my Valentine, I should just get everything at the store. I got half of it. She loved it. Awesome. I knew it would work. See, I know romance. I just don't have anyone to use it on. Becca was asking me advice on what to get her new date, because it's not a boyfriend yet thing. But I'm like, I'll just get him some candy. It's fine, and get him a nice card. But I give out romantic advice to everyone, and I'm like, but I have no one to use it on. Also, bones. Yes, I'm so hungry for bones right now. Someone's gonna clip that out and make it a GIF, and I don't care. Yeah. It was fun. So, I mean, I'm glad it worked for you, and I'm glad you're. What? Oh, I'm glad that your partner liked it. My girlfriend and I were gonna go on a cute Roblox date for Valentine's, but she had to do homework all day. I still had a good Valentine's though. I video called with one of my single friends. What you should do is, oh my god, whenever your girlfriend is available next, be like, hey, we can still have Valentine's Day. We'll do a makeup day, you know? That's what I did. Like, well, I mean, I did it on, I had a date. Okay. Back when I had a boyfriend, like a couple years ago, we had Valentine's Day on the actual day because it was my first ever Valentine's Day while I was in a relationship, and I wanted to celebrate it. Ended horribly. But for all other reasons that I can't describe on a video. But I will say, like my sister and her husband, they're going on their Valentine's Day date next weekend because they pretty much, like, all the restaurants and stores and all that kind of stuff, they're all busy this weekend. So there's a lot of people who just go, hey, we can celebrate, but we'll celebrate next weekend when it's not so busy. So the Bunny Boy says, I followed your pup account on Twitter there. I see that you're in PA. May I ask what part? I can tell you. What can I tell you? If you're familiar with, let's see, I can tell you because you seem like a good person, but there's gonna be other people on the stream that eventually see it. safety reasons. I can't be like, here's where I am. DM me on Twitter. Oh, Bunny. Oh, hi, Bunny. Hi, Bunny. Wait, are you from PA too? Wait, are you really from PA? And you have a Twitch channel. No, see, it's not just about like if I ban them that they still see things that we do. It just means that they can't comment on it. Sure, you can share something, Chris. Hey, there you go. I just messaged you with it. But yeah, I can't publicly say what like county or town I'm from because that would tell other people that have literally sent bomb threats to us. And no one wants that. So, because that's coming up in another episode of how we've had multiple bomb threats on the show. Fun. Yay. Fun times in the neighborhood, right? So we don't really release our specific area anymore. And I've taken all the old content down that said that and edited all of it again to take that out. So, yeah. If you notice, a couple episodes were like really old, but they were uploaded later. Like, yeah, it was edited, to take my town out. Because I thought, okay, yeah, like I might be fine here. And then all of a sudden we got like the death threats and bomb threats and doxing and swatting threats. And I'm just like, okay, guess who's taking their address down? Or no, I never actually had the address, but I had the town. And I'm like, guess who's not saying what town they live in anymore? My mom is still sending me gay memes. Well, that's good. Wait, you were the person that was like, I want to come out to your mom. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we'll probably end up doing like a meetup. Probably at a like if you, I'll tell you what. If you come to the Pride event for Pottsville Pride, July 17th, we can meet up there as well. Come say hi. I will be there. My entire crew will be there filming. I won't be speaking at it this year, maybe. I haven't heard anything on that yet. But I'll definitely have a booth there for Power Rainbows and for PA Equality Project and stuff. Come say hi. That's if I don't have COVID right now. Hopefully. Anyway, we're not even going to think of that. Okay. For those who don't know, Chris says, I do Let's Play series. Okay. And? Oh, is that when you wanted to tell everybody that you do Let's Play series? I mean, what I could do. I mean, you have 90 subscribers. If we could get you to 100, that would be awesome. So, go to Burning Earth Productions. Gaming, animation, sci-fi, visual storytelling, redefined. Awesome channel, by the way. Go subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Is that all you wanted to say? Oh, okay. You wanted to say that. There's a Let's Play series I've been working on, and one of the characters was revealed to be a cross-dressing boy. It was revealed rather tastelessly in the game. And I just wanted to say, whether you are LGBTQ or just cross-dressing, be comfortable with whatever you feel. There you go. Be comfortable being you. That's a wonderful statement. That is a wonderful statement. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, everyone go subscribe to Chris if you haven't already. But for the people who did, thank you. Because Chris has amazing content as well. You have 6 subscribers? Another channel that I have only has like 5 or 6 too, so I understand the pain. You now have 94. Does he have 94? Hey, here you go, Chris. 95. Hey, we're gonna get you. What if, Chris? What if we can get you to like 1,000 tonight? That way you can start being a part of a YouTube partner program and start getting like just wonderful YouTube gifts. If you didn't watch our Christmas live stream, YouTube literally sent me a huge gift, a huge box for Christmas this year. Oh yeah, it was rather upsetting, not gonna lie. I'm going to make it a point to illustrate that in the video where it happens. But my channel is LGBTQ friendly. Yes, Chris's channel is very LGBTQ friendly. He's also one of the producers on this show and writers on the show. By the way, I'm using he. I should be using they. I'm sorry. If anyone here is interested in an LGBTQ sci-fi guy, you're welcome to subscribe anytime. Chris hasn't been over since Christmas. You need to come, although not right now, because I'm in quarantine for 2 weeks. But once I'm out of quarantine, then you can come over. No, it's okay. He, she, and they are good with me. Okay. Help, I have a crush on a guy, but I think he's straight and I'm closeted. And if I try to ask him, I'd risk outing myself. That is very valid. You don't know how many really cute guys there are that are straight. This bothers me to no end. But, yeah, talking to someone like that might out yourself, so it is very, it's difficult. Wait, you're at 103? Awesome. No, okay, just do me a favor and don't unsubscribe from him. Because he has great content. But yeah. And I shout him out specifically because he's been my friend since beginning of high school years, and he's a great guy, and he's also the first person in the whole world that I actually told that I was gay to. He's one of the best people on earth. But he's probably gone now, so don't tell him that I said that. Yeah. Shoot, we're almost at 3 hours, man. We're almost at 3 hours. Is it possible? I can't find your channel. Oh. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. Literally there. There you go. My dad's kind of hoping I'm not actually trans. He said, quote, I think you will like your body once it develops. No teenager likes their body. And he wants me to do soul searching so I can figure out I'm not. Would you like to hear something that I've done recently on that? I did a little teaser, a little tiny teaser on the community tab, and little code for people that he had to like decipher. Oh, Chris is still here, so that means he heard me mention how good of a person he is. Oh, darn. Okay. I love you, Chris. Thank you for being a producer. Thank you for being a good person and one of the best people alive. Okay. He is though. He's one of the best people alive. So I put a little code out there and little thing that you had to decode in the community tab, and people found out that it said valid new song coming soon. So y'all are like, yeah, okay, there's a valid song coming soon. Well, no, the song is actually called Valid, and it's my first ever trans awareness and transgender enforcing and empowering song that I've written. I've written a lot of gay songs, but I finally decided to sit down and write a transgender song. So, okay, I have to head off. Good night, everyone, and thank you all for 100 subs. Awesome. Thank you, Chris, for being here, and have a great night. Happy Valentine's Day. Get all your homework done, and know that we're proud of you. We're proud as hell of you. Have fun. Bye-bye. So... Okay. Matt, wait, before I go, what? What? I'm going in a couple minutes too, buddy. What? If you're looking to make a song about someone who is trans, I have some ideas. We could collaborate. I already wrote it. And it's already recorded. I just have to edit it now. Although, like, I want to re-record the vocals for it because my situation at the moment means I get out of breath fast, and I'm sorry, Chris. I know that you know trans people, and I know who you're talking about would have been interested in being on it, but I just didn't have time to get in contact with him. I think I know who you're talking about. The one in Pottsville? That we both mutually know? I don't know if they're comfortable with us saying their name on stream, but... The... Cassie's husband? Or fiancé? I think that's who you mean. Because I think he sings. I'm not 100%, but... They'll end up being two versions of the song, because the way it's written, it can be for like trans women right now, and so I want to make two different versions so that like a couple words change, and you can also download the song for a trans guy, you know. But it'll probably end up being like a lyric video or a recording video here on the channel, and then I'll have downloads of each available on Teespring. That way you can download the MP3s and put them right on your phone. Alright, gotta head off. Night, everyone. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for joining us for 3 hours. Awesome. But, I mean, do you guys want to hear a little bit? Okay, so this is like a rough cut so far of it. Let's get to edit recording. Is that? Find it. All right, here we go. You know what I can do? I can plug it in. Could I plug it in? Oh crap! All my cables are downstairs. Freak. Okay. No, I'll just play it. Okay. There's a voice in your head that seems to never stop, like a freight train rolling or a ticker on a clock.
It's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. That closet can be lonely, but know you have a family. One who will love you, one who will love you for life. There's a sign on the bathroom always singing the blues. It's a constant reminder of a life you didn't choose. There's a sport you can't play 'cause other girls are too afraid. And there's a dress you can't wear to prom 'cause they've all gone insane. But it's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. That closet can be lonely, but know you have a family. One who will love you for life. And you're made to feel different. You're made to feel small. But remind yourself you're perfect when they trip you in the halls. 'Cause it's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. And as for all the haters, we need better educators. 'Cause it must be quite a sad fucking life. And as for all the haters, we need better educators. 'Cause they must have quite a fun fuck.
And here's where I make mistakes, obviously.
Haters, we need better educators. 'Cause they must have such a sad fucking life. It's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. But the closet can be lonely, but know you're far from the only.
I mess up sometimes, but yeah.
You're made to feel different, and you're made to feel small. But remind yourself you're perfect when they trip you in the halls. 'Cause it's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. And as for all the haters, we need better educators. 'Cause they must have such a sad fucking life. It's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It must. It's only just a matter of time. That closet can be lonely, but know you have a family. You're far. That closet can be lonely, but you're far from the only. Know you have a family for life. That closet can get lonely, but you're far from the only. You must have such a wonderful life.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, in the final recordings, that'll end up being a lot cleaner, because I mean there are mistakes, obviously, but that's like a that's a really like rough version. But yeah, so there's the lyrics. There's a voice in your head that seems to never stop, like a freight train rolling or a ticker on a clock, because a trans person is always thinking this, that they're a different gender than what everyone else assumes they are. And though you know they're wrong, you're just a boy in their eyes, but your Mr. dead name hurts worse every time. So every time they call you Mr. or he or him, or every time they call you a boy, it hurts worse and worse because you know you're not a boy. And the final versions will have two different versions of this, where one is for a trans boy and one's for a trans girl. But so that's the first verse. But it's not a phase you can grow out of. It's valid to come out as. It's only just a matter of time. Because being trans, it's not about whether you are or you aren't trans. It's just a matter of time until you tell people, you know, and when it's safe to tell people. That's all, you know. As we've covered on the show many, many times before, brain scans prove that your gender is in your head, and it's proven by hundreds upon hundreds of studies, thousands of studies now, and it's actually a scientific law that transgenderism is valid, and your gender is valid. Whether you're non-binary, gender fluid, or transgender, it's all proven by science now, which is incredible that we have that science behind us now. That closet can be lonely, but know you have a family of 280 plus million people around the world, one who will love you for life, because blood is your family is not always blood. The family that chooses to love you is the family that you should be with, you know. I hope people do educate themselves better on LGBTQ as well, and that's partly why our channel is here. We've changed a lot of people's minds, luckily. There's a sign on the bathroom, always singing the blues. It's a constant reminder of a life you didn't choose. A lot of trans people are forced to use the wrong bathroom for years upon years, and they have to walk into a bathroom every day that doesn't resemble themselves, and it's just horrendous. That feeling that you get when you walk into a bathroom that's not your own and of the wrong gender, that's terrible for trans people. I finally felt like I can write this song because I've had enough trans people in my life around me to tell me what it's like, that I felt like this is a story I need to tell. So it's like, there's a sport you can't play because other girls are afraid, and there's a dress you can't wear to prom because they've all gone insane. It's like, they say, oh, and this part will change again for the trans boy version, but it's like, they don't let you play sports because you're trans because other girls are afraid you're going to beat them and they're not good sports. And then you can't wear a dress to prom like you want to because other people are insane and think that girls can't wear dresses, you know? It's just freaking insane. And then you're made to feel different. You're made to feel small when you're trans, but remind yourself you're perfect when they trip you in the halls. When people hate on you for being trans, remind yourself that you're perfect and there's a family out there that loves you, because it's not a phase you'll grow out of. And as for all the haters, we need better educators, because it must be quite a sad fucking life to be transphobic. And that's, I mean, like, we need science class in our schools to teach, yes, being trans is valid. Oh my God. Like, science proves this now. There's scientific facts that prove this now. You know, not just scientific, evidence, but enough evidence to make it a scientific law and a scientific fact that being trans is valid. So why aren't educators teaching that? Oh, wait, it's because the transphobes are out there who, the minority of people are somehow controlling the education system in most countries of the world. Although I did hear that New Jersey just added LGBTQ education coming to their schools in 2022, which it's like, all right, great that you added it, but like, why are you waiting 2 fucking years to put it in place? Or like, at the time it was 2020 when this was passed. So it's like, why are you waiting 2 years? But yeah. So that's the new song. It's coming in time as soon as I feel better and feel up to recording. But yeah. You're getting a boy haircut soon enough. Awesome. But yeah, that song is going to be definitely put out for the trans people and trans kids in our audience to have some validity in their music. Like I always say that we want representation in our movies, in our TV shows, in our music, and in our governments. And I'm not just saying it. This is a TV show. And I get to talk about all this stuff on a TV show, which is awesome. So you get representation on a TV show. You get films from us, which means you get it from films. And you also see LGBTQ representation in music that even if you don't like my voice or like my songs, I'm not just talking the talk. I'm actually walking the walk that we want to add that representation in our music as well. And then we push for LGBTQ friendly candidates for our government. So the show walks the walk is what I'm saying. We're fully behind what we say that we want. But yeah, that every time I like played the song in rehearsal so far, it's like it makes me emotional because I'm like I know so many trans people who have gone through that process and of feeling the horrible feelings that the world puts on you, in that we talk about in the video or in the song. So, do you have any tips for coming out to extremely religious friends and family members? I may come out to a couple friends this summer. Check an episode out called How to Deal with Homophobia and Transphobia in Your Family, Friends, and School. That's a great episode on our channel. Explains it a whole lot better than I can in this video, in a stream. I don't know why schools misgender people either. Schools know better. Schools know better. We've asked transphobic schools, and they know better. They know better. They just decide to do it out of pure hatred. And they know the effects it has on the trans community. They know trans people are, 53 or something like that percent more likely to think about suicide compared to cisgender people are something like that. I'd have to like look up the actual stat, but yeah, they know the effects of it, and yet they choose to do it anyway, and they know better. And there's also federal rules that tell them how to do better and mandate that they do better, but they still do it anyway. Tell me how that's right. So that's why all of a sudden you're seeing a bunch of states thinking about, if you saw recently in the news about different states in America especially, there was this letter that Focus on the Family sent out to lawmakers in every state and said, hey, why don't you think about legislation that would prevent transgender people from playing any sport at all and would require trans people not to use any bathroom at all at school. Basically, it meant that trans people have to now be homeschooled because we don't want to deal with them trans people, so they have to go home and be homeschooled because they can't be around our cisgender children. The letter they sent out was horrendous, right? And so 20 some different states have like proposed the idea now of putting out legislation that would prevent trans people from actually coming to school with the rest of everyone. And what ended up happening after that, you might be like, why all of a sudden is this happening? Well, it's because Joe Biden was voted in. And Joe Biden in the election was saying that in his first 100 days, he was going to, in his first 100 days, he was promising to pass the Equality Act. The Equality Act would require schools to allow transgender people to use the same bathrooms, same locker rooms, and same sports as their cisgender counterparts of the gender they are. So if you're a trans girl, you're going to be able to use the same exact bathroom, locker room, and sport as other girls, right? And these transphobic organizations are like, we can't have equality, we can't have fairness. And so they're trying to pass all these state laws right now. And they're spending millions of dollars to do it, by the way. They're trying to do this really fast in every state in America. But somehow they still haven't realized. Even if, and here's the redeeming quality of this, right? And I'll leave you at this, because I know some of you are getting kind of upset about what they're doing. And it's obvious. Like, I got terribly upset over it when I heard it's happening in Pennsylvania, too. The redeeming quality in all this is, no matter what happens, these transphobic groups are spending millions upon millions of dollars to have all of these lawmakers think about proposing a law in the state that would do all this transphobic stuff, right? But first off, 99% of the time, what these groups want and send a letter of intent to lawmakers asking for, it never actually becomes a bill that the lawmakers actually propose, right? 99% of the time it dies right there because they realize there's not enough support for it. In most of these states, there's not enough support for it to pass. So it would never become a state law in most of the states anyway, right? Now, there are some states where it might actually get passed in the more Republican areas, right? Because they're like Alabama and so on are typically more transphobic than others, you know? So there are states that it might actually happen in. But here's the thing. Yeah, I'm hella gay, by the way. I'm very much a gay guy. If you haven't figured out by the rainbows. And the fact that I was talking about how much I like men's bones before and ball pits. I mean, very gay. But even if it did pass in any state in America, right? And there's other countries that already passed the Equality Act federal, by the way. So it wouldn't happen there. But even if they pass this, right? Which it's never going to happen in all the states anyway. The Democrats control the Senate and the executive branch now. So here's what happens with that. The Equality Act, which basically means trans people get treated like cisgender people, and gay people cannot be discriminated on because, the Equality Act literally says you cannot be discriminated on in any way from your sexual orientation or gender identity. Period. It puts sexual orientation and gender identity right alongside discrimination for your sex or your religious views or all that other stuff that's already illegal federally, right? And so the wonderful part about this is it already passed the House of Representatives. It's in the Senate chamber. And Mitch McConnell, for how long there, for years, was just holding it up and saying, well, I don't personally agree with this bill, so I'm not going to let it go through. I'm not, even though it had enough support at the time to be passed in the Senate. Mitch McConnell was saying he doesn't personally believe in it, so he won't let the Senate take a vote on it. And so what ended up happening with that was, all right, it never got on the floor for a vote, even though it had enough votes to pass, which is complete bullcrap, by the way. Anytime you have legislation that can be held up by one person because they're in control, that's bullcrap. It should be mandated that any legislation has a certain number of days that the Speaker of the House or the majority leader in the Senate can't hold up these things forever, right? So what ends up happening now is Democrats now control the Senate. And so they're saying, hey, wait a minute. we now control Senate, and Mitch McConnell is no longer the guy in charge of determining when the Equality Act comes up for a vote. And even when it comes up for a vote now, the Democrats control the Senate. So when it goes to the floor for a vote, they should at very least get 51 votes for this thing and be able to pass it. No questions asked, right? And so the Senate has already said, we're going to pass the Equality Act within the first 100 days of Biden's administration, right? And they're already, how many days into that? Like, less than 30 days into that first 100 days. But anyway, they're saying, hey, we're going to pass that too. So now, at that point, once the House and the Senate pass it, it then goes on to the executive branch, which means President Biden. Now, Biden has said, hey, this is what I'm voting for. And it was a big campaign promise of him. So he has to sign it at that point because he's already said he would. So he signs it within a day or two once it goes to him. And then it goes on to the judiciary branch, which is the Supreme Court, basically. Now, the only reason a piece of legislation that has already passed the House and Senate and the executive branch, the only reason it wouldn't become legislation is if it's unconstitutional. Now, Republicans do control the judiciary branch. They do control the Supreme Court right now. But those same justices have... the last time an equality thing was up for vote in the Supreme Court was, I think, June 2020. That was before Amy Coney Barrett got into office in the Supreme Court, before she was rushed through by the Republicans because of her conservative viewpoints. So before that, in June 2020, that last equality thing that just happened, that ended up being I believe, 6-3 decision, if I'm not mistaken. And because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it was 6-3. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg sadly passed away, even though she was an incredible woman who was on Supreme Court that fought for equality hands down all the time. But so what the current thinking is even if the same conservatives go on the same side as they were before, it will end up being a 5-4 decision this time for the Equality Act. 5-4 means 5 people vote that it is constitutional to pass the Equality Act, 4 people vote against it. And that means the majority wins. And on that day, we would finally have the Equality Act in law as of the date that the Supreme Court signs it. And that would mean every school in America, public and private, would no longer be allowed to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Period. And this whole debate for years upon years upon years would be over. LGBTQ will win. So, at the moment, we pretty much can figure it's going to be passed in the Senate within a few months here. We can pretty much figure President Biden's going to sign it, and worst case scenario, Kamala Harris would sign it within a couple days. And so, worst case scenario, we're looking at beginning of the next school year, Equality Act passed, which would be wonderful. So that's why transphobic organizations are so scared right now. They see the writing on the wall. They see their hate ending. They see their hate being a criminal offense in a couple months, which it will be a criminal offense in a couple months. So they know it's ending. The Equality Act sadly doesn't do much on the regards for conversion therapy or LGBTQ education in all schools, but it does at least. It's the most sweeping LGBTQ friendly piece of legislation America has ever seen. So, yeah. These organizations like Focus on the Families, these hate groups, are seeing the writing on the wall right now. Okay, and Frozen Fan says, yes, zero discrimination. I can shout F you at the homophobic people at my school. No, because there's still school rules that you can't verbally or physically abuse or bully homophobic people, sadly, unless they do something like, I mean, it's going to be a very fine line, but all the time what we say is just keep loving no matter what. Love in the face of hate no matter what, and you'll be fine. So don't shout F you to anyone, just know that you're protected from them shouting F you back at you. Just equality, here's the thing. Equality doesn't mean you can hate on someone for being homophobic or transphobic. Equality means they can't do things to actively hate on you because they are homophobic or transphobic. It protects you. It doesn't mean you're protected from doing something extra. It doesn't mean that it gives you more rights than them. The Equality Act and everything here that we're fighting for means that you should have the same rights as them. That's what we want. We want the equal rights. We don't want better rights. We don't want better treatment than what straight and cisgender people have. We want better treatment than what we currently have, which is not equal to what they have yet. So we want equality, but equality doesn't mean that LGBTQ are any better than straight and cisgender. And that's what the homophobic groups will tell everyone of, like, oh, the LGBTQ wants laws to protect them so that they can be better than everyone. No, we want equality so that we can be treated the same. What people don't get is LGBTQ are down here in the world's eyes, and straight and cisgender people are treated here. We want that to be equal, and we need laws to make that happen. So that's what our show is all about. Anyway, it has been a great night, 3.5 hours now, and thank you all for joining us for the stream. Thank you all for being here. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always. I will see you back. Well, I mean, I will technically see you next week for a brand new episode every Friday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We have brand new episodes airing on our channel. So if you haven't already seen some episodes from us this season, we've put out quite a few of them so far this season. Every single Friday we come out with new episodes. This next Friday is an episode on Gaberhoods and gentrification, teaching you all about that. Then we have an episode with Marshall John Blount, an aromantic and asexual activist. He's going to be talking about all of that, plus some Black Lives Matter stuff mixed in there. Great activist coming on the show the following week there. That's April. No, that's what month are we in? February 26th, I believe, is that episode. And we'll have episodes all March long, which March is Bisexual Health Awareness Month. So we're going to have Bisexual Double Discrimination episode coming out the first Friday of March. YouTube and how it helps and hurts LGBTQ. The true dangers behind the scenes for hosting this show. An episode there, an episode with a furry, an episode with a transgender activist at the end of March. I will see you at some point in March. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to do a live stream in March yet. I'll figure that out as we go along. Probably on International Puppy Day on March 23rd. Probably that day, because it's Puppy Day, probably that day. But definitely I will see you in the comments. I try to respond to as many comments as I can, although you kind of are getting overwhelming now at 22,000 people. So thank you for that. All of the people who have donated tonight will be on the end card for next month's entire episodes. So if you have done a super chat tonight or at all this month, we're going to put your channel name on our end card at the end of every single episode next month during March. So thank you especially to why can I not see it? Why can I? Why no? Oh, why can't I not see this? Okay. No, I'll just go over here. It's fine. It's fine. I'll come over here to another screen and do it. It's fine. So super chats from tonight. So thank you especially to Blueberry Star, Generic Studios, and Blueberry Star for your super chats. Thank you so much to our newest members, Paige Narst and OT John Development. Thank you so much for being brand new members of our channel. If you would like to have your name added to the end card of any video, any episode next month in March, please do hit that join button down below right next to the subscribe button. Also with that, you get a bunch of different exclusive content, including at the first tier you get special badges next to your name here. You get a special live stream as they come. You also get a bunch of other stuff that's like our internal gratitude. Then if you are a Pride student, then you also get access to behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and also bloopers from every single week's episode. So what you'll see is, can you say in the cabinet, not the closet? That is true. You can be in the cabinet, not the closet. But just know that you're not there alone. A lot of people think that being in the cabinet or the closet or wherever you metaphorically speak of as hiding who you are or who you love to the rest of the world. Just know you're not there alone. A lot of people think that that door in front of you is solid, but truth is, it has a window, and there are a lot of people looking out for you. There are a lot of people here in the LGBTQIA+ who are giving you strength and who are holding your hand through it all. You're never there alone. Just know that. So if you want to see bloopers, every single Friday we put out an episode. The Monday after, we release the bloopers from that episode, so you can click over and see that as a member. What else do you get as a member? Oh, yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of just community posts that are just special to you guys. A lot of like, hey, here's what's coming up on the show, or here's like a little quote or something like that I like. So there's a lot of stuff you get exclusive to those memberships down below. So as well as if you are any member of ours at any level, you also get your name added to the end card of next month's episodes. So that's cool. As well as super chats. But super chats come secondary on that list as we scroll through them next month. So, yeah, that's there. Also, if you are interested at all, I say it because, monetization on YouTube isn't that great. We do have merchandise available if you enjoy any of our content and want to really support us. Valid will be the official t-shirt for that new song. So we have a bunch of new stuff there that we just added. I know I said this already in the stream, but a lot of people weren't here for that. And also, it's the first live stream of the year so far. So we want to definitely shout out the brand new 2021 merchandise of ours, because our team worked incredibly hard on making all that possible, and people are liking it so far. So Um, it's the political cabinet. I like that. Uh, anyway, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You can go back and watch the whole thing if you want to like take the rainbow scroll bar, progress bar at the end of the bottom of your screen. You can scroll all the way back to the beginning if you want. It was 3 hours and 37 minutes so far. You can if you want to just sit there for 3.5 hours now. But just know you are valid and you are loved by so many people, including me. I'm gonna go back to resting now because my voice is tired. But I loved being here for so long. I wanted to come on tonight. For the past couple days, I've been really scared of like the symptoms I've been having, so I wanted to come on, especially, just to say hi, and also because it's Valentine's Day and I don't like feeling alone. So of course you're valid, Hopkins, Morelia Hopkins. Yeah, generally we get one dislike from a homophobe who does follow our channel. I can't figure out who it is, but we can't block that part. So I will say, thank you so much for joining us for 3.5 hours here. Thank you for being here, and look for brand new episodes every Friday. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a live stream, so I want to end with the puppy thing. Ruff, ruff. Anyway, as always, I'm your host, Professor Pride. Have a gay day, everyone. And bye for now. Ruff. Madiella. Ah, there you go. Okay. Bye. Oh, yeah, and join the Discord. It's in the description of this video. I mean, we didn't even get around to doing the Discord stuff tonight. Y'all wanted me to add, like, pride flags to the Discord, and I didn't see any of you asking for that, so we didn't do it. But, I mean, I'll add them in a couple days to come, but anyway. Have a gay day, everyone.